I'm going to make us a new intro for that soon. I promise. But here we are.
Here we are. Just got done with our Spider-Man chat. We can talk more Eternals before Frank gets in here.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil Eternals. It's Friday, November 5th. The Eternals came out yesterday. But we decided to spend our evening instead talking about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1 and 2. But we did talk about Eternals a little bit. I think Ricky and I both liked it. I think I liked it a little bit more than Ricky did. Frank hasn't seen it, so we're trying to be nice and not spoil anything for him and for anybody who was nice enough to come join us for this show. So, but I had a laundry list of other things I could have talked about Spider-Man 1 and 2, but I did think that was a fun conversation. I thought that went in a lot of cool different ways, and we let it go. We let it go in a lot of fun directions. But I did get my answers to my questions, and that's all I really wanted. But you know what? I did have one question that I kind of glossed over it because I don't know. I didn't feel like it was necessarily gonna add anything to it, but I'll ask you now really quick, Ricky. Since we watched Spider-Man 3 earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And then welcome back, Frank.
Yo.
Did rewatching the first two this week change your opinion of 3?
No.
I don't hate 3.
The thing is, I was thinking about 3 also. Like 3, Spider-Man 3 and Iron Man 3 of both of those trilogies are the ones that I've seen the most.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because like Spider-Man 3, I desperately want to like it. And I do like it. I like it for a lot of reasons, but it's definitely a flawed sequel. Where Iron Man 3 is more of a comfortable sequel. I don't like certain choices that they made in Iron Man 3.
Well, Spider-Man 3 is just going for the spectacle. Like,
yeah,
we got to have not 1, not 2, but 3 villains. We got Venom. Like, it just keeps on stacking, and it doesn't execute. But
it's a bummer because you could see the craft behind it. It's kind of like when I started getting fatter, and you can see I could look in the mirror and see that skinny young person behind those eyes. I see him trapped in this fat body,
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you on that one. Well, the reason I was asking that question is because, like I still want to like 3 for the same reasons you were saying, Frank. Because like it is a fulfilling arc to Peter, Harry, and MJ. It really is a good arc for those 3 characters. Everything else gets a little muddled, right? Because there's so many extra characters in 3.
That Sandman retcon is the goddamn worst.
Yeah, but so here was my question, or my rabbit hole that I thought we'd entertain going down for a little bit.
Yeah,
I kind of saw an opportunity for a rework that I think would have made 3 better, and it's because I started noticing 2 is a great movie, but honestly, having the hindsight of like 20 some plus MCU movies now, where like they pretty much they make a lot of use out of every scene, right? Like they really try to make sure every scene that's in the movies needs to be in the movie, whether or not you like the movie. Pretty much every scene usually has to serve the story. And what I found when I was rewatching Spider-Man 2, it's a little long in the tooth.
Yeah,
there's a little bit too many extra characters that don't need to be there. Like, I thought it was interesting that when Peter went to the doctor to find out about his anxiety and stuff, like he had to have this heart-to-heart with a doctor that we have no investment in. Like, this is a character that we just don't know.
Not even a named character.
Yeah, and he has to get a whole pep talk from this doctor, right? And there was several other weird scenes that just got to have people that don't matter to us at all. Like, did you recognize that Bones herself, Emily Deschanel, was in the beginning of the movie?
What's funny is that, okay, so let me interrupt that real quick, and then I'll remind you of it. But I was talking about how Emily Deschanel is my favorite Zooey Deschanel right now. Before that, Katy Perry at her peak was my favorite Zooey Deschanel. So anyway,
good. Nice. I like that.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I did
So
notice.
what I started kind of noticing all these extra people that had full scenes, like Hal
Yeah, Hal
Sparks.
Sparks. Yeah, Hal
It's
Sparks.
it's adorable. It's a
Yeah.
cute scene, but like even Bruce Campbell's scene is a little longer than it needs to be, right? Like I know it's charming and it's fun because if you're a Sam Raimi fan, you get the moment. You got to get it, Bruce Campbell. I'm not knocking that at all, but like I'm saying I was adding them up, like, and when you start adding them up, you see all these scenes that add to the movie in funny little ways, but they don't need to be there. And so what I started realizing
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to add to that the scene where it's a really short scene, but Elizabeth Banks goes, chin up, Peter. Like that kind of didn't need to be there because there was no payoff to it.
Yes, but I'm so glad you brought that up because I still think Elizabeth Banks was one of the most underutilized characters in the entire franchise. And so what I started thinking about is like, dude, there's a way in which we could have had Venom, New Goblin, and Sandman in that third movie and it not be a sloppy mess. And it would have worked really well if the symbiote was introduced in the second movie. Not Venom.
The symbiote, okay.
What I'm saying is, what if the second movie was the black suit and the black suit was the reason that Peter lost his powers? Because it fed off of him. And it took him finally realizing after a long period of time in that movie, and of him maybe burning his friends, maybe him going and doing things like dating Liz, just like doing horrible things because I feel like, one of the things you can do to really be like show you're a shitty person is, they say you don't shit where you eat, right? So if he actually got,
I've been doing that for the past like 15 years.
If he actually dated Liz, like as his alter ego, like the emo Peter or whatever.
Okay,
like,
so you're like Web of Shadows style.
Yeah. So I'm saying, what if we got Black Suit Spider-Man, just Black Suit Spider-Man in this movie, and then it ends with like him, not ends with, but like before he goes and finally confronts Doc Ock,
Rips it off.
He goes to the church.
He does the church. He gets the bell tower thing. Then he goes back home, gets his real suit, and decides he doesn't need the black suit. He can do this on his own. Yeah. Whatever. Goes, wins the thing. Doc Ock still gets his redemption. All that fine. Then the third movie is just, it starts with the cold open of us meeting Eddie Brock, and Eddie Brock is this character that they have inserted into these scenes in the background of the other two movies.
Okay.
So you're like Mysterio.
Kind of like Forrest Gump or whatever, right?
One thing I would really appreciate about that is if they started off with like, you want to know who I am? Are you sure you want to know? And it's Topher Grace.
Sure.
That'd be cool.
And that scene ends with him at the bottom of the church bell, and then cue the intro to the movie. And now we no longer need to get the entire origin story of Eddie Brock, because now he's just there. He's just there, and we're caught up to speed.
Took my job.
We know that.
My girl.
We know that suit. Mm-hmm. We know the suit. We know everything. So now we could even possibly just not even have the Stacys in the movie too. Like that would be even better.
I don't even know why they were there.
I just didn't think. Venom just didn't translate into that type of movie though. Just
because
visually.
Venom's not supposed to be done in one movie. That's the reason I'm saying.
Well, just the visual look of him though. Like it doesn't. It's not a Venom.
Well,
he doesn't
I like his visuals.
I think he looks better than the other one. Like
you think he looks better than Tom Hardy?
Well, like at certain points, he looks more accurate to Venom.
Yeah, when he does the fangs and the kind of like icky stuff on the
side. Yeah. But I think I just started picturing this in my head. If like you leverage the characters that you have rather than keep adding more. Do you know what I mean? Like Liz is wasted. Like she's just, or not Liz. I mean Betty. Betty Brant, right? It's Betty. I'm thinking,
we've been saying Liz this whole time. Yeah, you're right. It's Betty.
Elizabeth it's because it's Elizabeth Banks. That's I get it confused. Yeah. Elizabeth Banks playing Betty Brant and flirting with Peter often, like, and just there's no payoff to that. It would have been nice to have her be utilized more. Just that whole office, the whole Daily Bugle office, just used more, to the point where, like, yeah, now in the third movie we have this situation where you find out that Eddie's been working there this whole time and getting the shaft because of Peter, but we don't need to like spend an exhaustive amount of time like introducing the concept of Venom, because it's going to play out naturally, so we can put more time into Sandman, and we can put more time into Harry, and we can just not have Gwen and not have Captain Stacy. And I think you have a way better trilogy is what you have.
Definitely tighter. Yeah.
Yeah. Because just having the black suit be a problem in the third movie also is just too much. It's too much bloat, but like, I thought I saw a place for it in the second movie that totally would have fit, because then I wouldn't have to think about those gross web shooters as much, because I would have been thinking about this alien symbiote that's messing with him, and yeah, that was my thought. I was just curious or do you guys see any room for that, like to be even expanded on further? Like, do you see?
No, that's a great one. I thought that if they were going to do a Gwen Stacy, they should have done it by the second movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
She didn't have to die in the second movie, but they should have really put a love triangle in the second movie.
Yeah, I agree. If you want to have her and the symbiote in the second movie, so that you can do more things in the third movie. Yeah,
so that you just pay it all off in the third movie, and that's it. I think that's the only thing I'd probably add to the second one to enhance the third one.
Yeah, and I also really kind of feel like not giving us the black suit in the second movie is just kind of like, you had a really good opportunity to do it there. Like,
gotta sell more toys.
Because I think for a lot of us,
John Jameson. They had John Jameson right there.
I think depending on your age,
they could have done
that's the link right there.
The show, the TV show version, right?
Yeah.
Was he a meteor? He wasn't a meteor. He came with John, right?
Yeah, he came with John he hitched a ride on the ship, and that's why everybody speculated that the movie Life was the prequel to Venom.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but yeah, no, seriously, like, I just feel like
God,
that could have been what could have been, like that it would have been just a tighter experience. And I think just the idea that for a lot of us at the age that we are, red suit Spider-Man and black suit Spider-Man were just two different flavors that you got in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I didn't know there was a preference for one over the other, like, because when I was reading those comics in the 80s, you could grab one book and he was in one and grab one in the other. So it just makes sense to me. Like, if we kind of were the target audience, I know we weren't quite, like, I think people a little older than us were, but give us the red blue suit in the first movie, give us the black suit in the second movie, and then come back to the red and blue suit in the third movie.
Scarlet Spider in the third.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's kind of what.
I'm ready to never see Scarlet Spider, but if we ever did, that'd be amazing.
I think the fourth movie would be cool if it was Scarlet Spider. You know what I mean? But like, because I think we would have had a fourth movie if we did. Venom
dude, here's how you do it. All right, he doesn't have the suit anymore in the third movie. He has to go back to his fucking Lucha Libre suit.
I'm not mad at that either, because that's actually one of my.
It's cold outside, so he finds a ripped up hoodie. There you go.
And he's all like, "Fuck these sleeves, it's cold."
But I think that is a missed opportunity, and I think that's one of the things I love most about the MCU. I don't love that the MCU is just making a bunch of new ones, but like, I do like that the MCU acknowledges that Peter has a ton of costumes. You know what I mean? Like, and I was just realizing something. I'm going to check this really quick, because we do have Ian in the chat, and last week I found out way later that Ian was unable to chat with us because something had to do with a link. So I'm going to check really quick to see if he needs the link to this, because it might be the same thing happening. I put the link in the Patreon post, but it's possible it's not happening. But yeah, I think that was one of the best things about Homecoming, is that you're actually excited at the end when he has to wear the regular ass like lucha libre suit again, right? Because like
I was stoked on
he
that.
has to do it on his own, right? He has to be okay with not having all the gadgets and stuff. So yeah, I thought maybe we'd have more of a discussion on that, but I
No,
just
you're
really
right. That's my favorite part of No Way Home. But you wanted to talk about the thought exercise some more.
oh
I
yeah,
do
if you wanted to.
I do appreciate that, and I think they should have paid off a couple other things here and there, or not paid off, but if they would have shown someone taking his blood in the first movie or something, like he goes and gets he's sick or something, or he's trying to figure out what's wrong with them, so he has someone like draw blood, and then I don't know, you
Yeah.
see like maybe what's not Miles Morales, what's his name, Miles the Jackal, Miles Worthington,
Miles Warren.
Warren. Oh man, I can't believe I forgot that one. But yeah, you see Miles Warren, he's the doctor, and he takes Peter's blood, and then maybe pay that off later or something like that. That would have been
Well, I
cool.
mean, they had like the Kurt Connor
Yeah.
tease too, right? Like,
Exactly.
Which
exactly.
was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I
And
think
I'm fine with
honestly,
that
if you were,
not being paid off. The Kurt
I
Connor
think
thing.
honestly, if there was to be a fourth movie, it should have been the Sinister Six, right? So you should have
Mhm.
built up a stable of 6 villains by 3 movies,
Yeah.
or maybe at least 5 of them by
well, I
3
don't-
movies.
And he's a fan of the Ditko era,
like-
so I
Yeah,
That's
I
like
think
the
that's
Spider-Man
really
White
good.
Well. Like, I
it's
don't think
not
we're getting
because
a
it's
Sinister
gonna
Six.
it's gonna happen this December. Oh, so see, Ian, something was wrong with the link, huh?
Oh, there he goes.
What did I do? What did I do wrong here?
He's back, bitches.
There's only
But,
5.
I'm gonna.
No, they're totally trying for the Sinister Six.
They're doing it. They're doing it. It's gonna happen. At this point, I'm not even questioning it. So it's fine.
They've been wanting it for a while, but at least it'll feel more earned here. Because this Peter, number one, this one Peter has built up a pretty good stable of villains, and number two, even if he hasn't, they can dip into the Sony well and jack those villains, which they already did. They already got Doc Ock, so they could just dip into that well and pull
Well, they got
the rest of the 6. So we got Doc Ock. We definitely got the Green Goblin. So I don't know. That's cool. It's opening directly into Patreon.
Yeah, no,
Interesting.
Ian, if down, I just did it and it worked for me. That's why I'm curious. On Patreon, if you go down into the description, it says direct link, and then I think if you right click it and say open in a new window, or if you just, for me, I can just click it. But I'm just curious. I just want to make sure I get this bug fixed for people who want to. I know this is the most exciting thing ever for anybody that is joining us, especially days later. But I want to get this cake worked out so that our patrons know that they can come and chat with us.
Yeah, come hang with
when,
us
when we do this. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, Sinister Six is happening, but it would have been nice if Tobey got to fight the Sinister Six, which might be a thing that he gets to do, right?
Maybe he did.
December.
Yeah, the action was really
It'd
cool.
be pretty badass if they bring John Malkovich, Vulture into this.
Oh, like the villains that we never got, like
Mm-hmm.
like maybe like what's his name, Bruce Campbell Mysterio shows up.
Yeah,
That'd be kind of funny.
That'd be pretty funny. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even what's his name, Garfield almost got a Sinister Six. They had all the pieces there.
Hard for that.
Yeah. Did you? I don't know if you've been following, because I know you mentioned Ricky that MCU tell-all book came out a few weeks ago. That was like the history of the MCU, and like they got a lot of interviews from like Kevin Feige and all these different people that were orchestrating the whole thing. And like apparently, Feige actually met with Sony years ago and asked them to not do that third Spider-Man movie that they were going to do with Garfield, because they wanted to try and do a new Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. There's a back. Yeah. It's with Amy Pascal.
Yeah.
She told him. She comments on how she was like kicked them out of their office basically, and like she was in tears because it was such like a ludicrous, insulting thing to say, right? Like, hey, don't make your third movie. But they later recount that her and Feige, or she had, I think the way she says it, she had reached back out to Feige the next day, with a clearer mind and really heard him out, and that's how like Spider-Man got in the MCU. Like just with those types of conversations.
It's cool.
Gotcha. Well, just so you know, I think we just figured it out. Ian watches this show on his phone, and that's why when he clicks the thing, he doesn't have chat enabled. And that's fine. I need, it's helpful to know that. But now we know that
there's a YouTube Switch app.
there's options for, like, if you're having the same problem without the chat, try clicking the link on a web browser and you might have better luck. But yeah, back to what we were saying.
What would have been a really good payoff is in part 2, Bonesaw's husband comes out and he's all, I gave him that suit, and he fights Spider-Man. He battles Spider-Man.
I see what you did there. I forgot to mention that was another tiny awkward thing, but I forgave it for the time.
2001, right? Like it's
whatever. Yeah. I do have a list of random things that I wrote because, like, I was live tweeting with Frank, like, some very insensitive and inappropriate things that I won't be repeating. I guess they weren't tweets; it was just directly to Frank and Ricky. I said a lot of things as I was watching the first one. I was a lot quieter on the second one because I liked the second one so much, but I actually wrote down a lot of notes. But my notes that
on the second one, I really wanted to tweet or like send you messages, but I was all like, no, I'm just gonna. I can hold on to a lot of this.
But the first movie, I gotta say, for me, the standouts were Norman, May, and Ben, and to a lesser extent, Mary Jane. I thought, like those,
May, Ben. Okay.
And yeah, those 4 characters really held down they held it down. I thought James Franco and Tobey were a little. I definitely thought that Franco and Tobey got to do more with their roles in the second and third movie for sure. Whether or not it was better stuff, questionable. No. But they got meatier roles. They got more.
Franco took acting lessons in between 1 and 2, I think.
Possibly.
No, yeah. No, I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
I definitely enjoyed Franco more in the second. Yeah.
Well, he had just done Freaks and Geeks, right? And that's his only credits before that, right?
But I think Freaks and Geeks was a lot of ad lib, right?
Was it really?
I think. I'm not sure. Yeah. But some other notes that I had, like I did say, Peter is lifeless when he's meeting Norman. Yeah, he was like on like,
yes, I've read your paper. I've read your paper on nanotechnology. I've read your paper on nanotechnology.
I wish he would have mentioned that he had to take his allergy medication earlier that day, and that's why he's falling asleep or something like that. The other thing I thought was really funny, and this goes to show, Ricky, what you were saying is like he's the dumbest of all the Peter Parkers. That spider bite was insane, man. Like, dude, if you had that bite and you don't go to the hospital, that thing was throbbing. It was like a freaking tennis ball, not a golf ball.
That spider wound up before biting him.
Dude, that bite, how do you not go to the doctor?
That was close up the spider biting too is pretty good.
Oh my God. That was so
I remember, I think we talked about a few weeks ago, the opening of the Spider-Man 1 game. There's an opening cinematic where they kind of go through the whole movie, and there's like a little scene with that. Oh, it's so good. I used to watch that all the time. Like, that was my Spider-Man movie before that DVD came out.
That's pretty cool. You start with Uncle Ben being dead, and you start with the luchador outfit, and then you have to kind of you have to catch up to the robber. You have to catch up to Sandman, and then fight Sandman. I'm kidding. That'd have been cool. I'd have been like, damn, that's sick.
I have some other funny notes. I realized for the first time watching this movie that Norman Osborn was actually insane before the serum. Are we actually sure the serum made him insane? I know they say in the movie that that's one of the side effects, but like, this guy chose to do human testing on himself
without any trial on himself.
Without any trials. Yeah. Like, I was like, okay, you're a psycho before we even have this movie.
He's kind of
that you're a psycho.
He's kind of a dick. And we talked about this in the Spider-Man 3 show. like, let Bernard retire. He was like 800 years old in the first movie. Let that guy.
He's not even listed as Bernard in the credits. He's Houseman.
He's Houseman. Oh man, let the
Houseman.
Houseman. Oh no, that's his last name. I think they made it in the third one. Did they make him
Okay.
Bernard Houseman? Like
Maybe,
it's
but
something like that.
But they never even call him Houseman in the movie. So like, why would we know that that's him? That's just ridiculous.
Let the poor guy retire.
Yeah.
But I mean, he is white, so maybe he's just in his 20s and he just looks that old or something.
Another example of how this Peter is the dumbest Peter of all. Like when asked about his plans after graduating, like he doesn't have college plans yet. Like
He couldn't
what is
afford his
this-
SAT.
Oh, that's good stuff
How
right
d-
there.
How does this dude not have college plans? Like, and I thought it was funny that Mary Jane's plans for after high school were just to go be an actor.
Go be
then,
an
like,
actor.
And then
He
like
succeeded
later
more than
on, they're
Peter.
like, "No, I got fired because they told me I need acting school." And like,
You know,
yeah, most people do need acting school before they become actors.
what's funny about that is most actors I knew at that age had the same job that Mary Jane did in working as a waitress,
Yeah.
until their acting jobs picked up or whatever. So
Yeah.
she could have done
Yeah.
both. She was just being lazy.
How crazy was it to see Octavia Spencer in that movie?
Yeah, small fry. I mean, just as crazy as seeing all the other side actors that would make it big. Like
Oh, yeah.
Emily
There's a
Deschanel
lot of
wasn't-
comedians. Yeah.
she wasn't Bones yet, and Hal Sparks
Yeah.
I don't think ever became anything. But
You got a BDH. You got a
just making fun of him.
I saw Jim Norton. the
Daniel Day
comedian.
Kim. Daniel Day Kim.
Yeah,
McHale.
Daniel Day Kim
Yeah.
was there too.
Yeah, Joe
But Daniel
McHale.
Day.
I don't think
Kim
he hadn't done Lost at the time yet.
No, you're right. He had not done Lost.
Thomas
yet.
Jane
Yeah.
is in 2 technically.
What the fuck? Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me about that.
He's
Yeah,
the
he's
Punisher.
there.
Or
Yeah, you guys told me about that.
guy dressed in all black.
Yeah.
Guy dressed in all
and-
black sounds hot. And this was Lucy Lawless's breakout role. That's really
No,
cool.
I don't think
That's-
so.
This is her first ever.
The other one that I thought was really funny is the moment where Peter realizes at the hospital that he knows who I am.
Yeah.
And then what does he do? I guess I'll just hang out at Aunt May's side without ever warning my roommate. Like
Yeah.
he
Kind
has
of
a
a dick move.
roommate.
But
He lives with a human being.
I'm not gonna lie though. To be fair, his roommate pulled a dick move and broke the bro code. He deserves to get killed by the goblin. You deserve it. You break the bro code, you pay.
Like having the context of like of I guess I just kind of like tuned it out when I was in my 20s. I didn't really think about how awkward it is that like Harry's just there all the time. Like how does Harry live with Spider-Man and not know he's living with Spider-Man? Like that Thanksgiving scene is hilarious. Oh, I didn't know Peter was home. Like
He always
He's
wears
so
red and blue.
fucking-
It's so weird.
Petty.
yeah.
Like
No,
in
but-
part 2 when he gets saved, this changes nothing.
This changes nothing.
I
He
know,
humiliated
right?
me by touching me.
Yeah.
Um,
He's a bit much in the second.
No,
one,
I think
for sure.
in the first one, I didn't know what my roommates all did at the time. I wasn't really buddy with any of them. They could have been Spider-Mans for all I
But
know.
but everybody told Peter that they're his best friend, or he's their best friend all the time. Like
But
Peter
I've
had
got,
no choice in who his best friends were. By the way, like
I've got the best friend that I've got a friend that calls himself my best friend, and we don't talk, we don't hang out, we don't do
That's
anything.
awkward.
But when we do talk, he refers
on
to himself
Friday.
as his best friend.
just on Friday nights, right?
Just on
Yeah.
Friday nights when we fuck. No,
Oh.
no, but but he does. He considers himself my best friend, but like we don't really talk. We don't have anything in common anymore. Like we used to have like video games and Ninja Turtles in common, and I guess we still kind of play video games. He's kind of moved on from video games, but we're not best friends. Is the point?
He's
I'm
really into
getting at.
Ninja Turtles.
Well, this is gonna be really awkward if he's our one of our patrons now.
Yeah. Oh no, I just saw that he canceled his Patreon. Damn. We needed him. We needed him and
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst. Now we're never
Yeah.
gonna get by.
And I did complain in the second one. I was saying how like there's a lot of extra characters But I will say there are two extra characters that I fell in love with really quickly, and it was Mr. Ditkovich and Ursula.
Yes, Mr. Dickovich is great.
They were adorable. Could I have had that movie without them? Yeah, probably.
Yes,
I could have.
definitely.
I could have.
Definitely without Ursula. I liked Mr. Dickovich. I think
Yeah,
because he further exemplified how poor Peter was, and I think that's really important for Spider-Man.
Yeah. But Ursula does confuse matters, right? Because like she's just not like why is that role not being filled by Betty Brant? You know, like
exactly.
Why is Betty, who's already an existing girl in his life, not flirting with him and stuff? But they were fun to watch. I did like them, even though they weren't characters that I'm fond of or something, or from the comics or whatever, because they're not from the comics, right? They're just
they're just two regular characters. Yeah, I agree. I liked Ursula, and I also liked how because I used to use cake as a euphemism for sex whenever there were like kids around, and I didn't want to overtly say, "Hey, let's go have sex. Let's go have cake." That's a lot easier to say. And what was cool is that she offered him chocolate cake. So
and then it was chocolate cake.
Yeah, it was like lemon cake.
Yellow cake. It was yellow cake.
Yeah, yellow cake with
chocolate frosting. With chocolate frosting.
That cake looked good.
And you know the worst part is when they were supposedly done, and she still had a big piece of cake on her plate, and then she took his plate, his empty plate, and she put it on top of her plate. I was like, why are you doing this? I was like, I don't get it. But whatever. That's just me nitpicking.
Maybe it's like a Slovenian. I don't know. Maybe it's a what was it? Sokovian. It's a Sokovian custom that they do that.
I would say of all the random extra characters that are into, the only one that I really liked and couldn't see that movie without is Rosie. I think Rosie really sold Otto's story. Like that was she was such a joy to have in that first act of that movie that it really hurts. It hurts because like when you meet her, you don't necessarily think, is she gonna die? You know, because I don't. Does he have a wife in the comics? I don't remember him having a wife in the comics.
Not one that you see initially.
Yeah,
if she does it was probably put in later, but yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact, you know that in the comics, Otto dates Aunt May. Ricky.
Yeah.
Oh God, no. Like,
do you know
on purpose or like?
Yeah. Do you know why, Dennis? Do you remember why?
I don't remember why.
It was to get this treasure that they have hidden in their basement. They have like bonds or something like that that are hidden in the basement.
Oh, and he's trying to like swindle her out of her riches.
Trying to swindle her out of it. Yeah.
Nice. Like the Lady Killers, isn't that a movie? The Coen Brothers movie, I think.
I don't think I've seen that.
No. Ian was like, it seemed like they ate cake in silence too. It totally did seem like that. They just like, she's like, would you like cake? Yeah, I would. And then the next scene is them just quietly like cleaning up after they've eaten cake. Like,
well, gotta go. Maybe he said something.
Talk? Yeah.
Maybe they did talk, but he said something so foul that like he's all like, you know what? Trump's looking pretty good in 2016. I think I'm gonna vote for him. And she's all like, well, let me get your plate. I'm gonna get your plate. I'm gonna put it on top of my plate. I gotta get out of here.
I mean, what was that? 2004, the second movie?
He had a lot of foresight in that movie.
2004.
You know, like,
he knew that Trump was gonna be.
I mean, The Apprentice was just taken off.
Yeah, The Apprentice was just taken off. He knew he was due. He knew he was gonna come back at some point. He had the Trump meats already bought.
Team Omarosa, like he was all set.
Joel McHale was in that movie too. I forgot about that. The bank manager.
The banker, yeah.
Yeah.
Or the bank guy.
Who Aunt May assaults.
Yeah. Twice.
She can't.
She flip kicks him and then she karate chops his hand.
Yeah. There was a lot of people that would go on to be way cooler, you know, or do way cooler things later on in those movies. It was really weird. Just like so many characters in that movie that just didn't need to be in that movie.
I do disagree though, because I do enjoy. I like seeing them there. I do think their scenes went on like maybe like a hair too long.
Yeah.
But I appreciate like stuff like in the first movie when they're all like a man with 8 arms sounds hot, or like, you know, he raises his hands and ropes come out and then he climbs.
I like it more in the first movie. because it's establishing character. In the second movie, it's just for fun. It's just silliness. Like
exactly, and that's what I was
Yeah.
getting at in the main show, how like everything in the second movie kind of the stuff that doesn't quite work, that kind of doesn't work, is like a shadow, like a parody almost of the first movie. Like I don't think the scenes of J. Jonah Jameson, and while they're great, I don't think they're as good as the first movie,
They
because the
hold
first
up.
movie was really tight. Like it was really tight and really
You become the
shot
joke at that
comedically.
point.
Exactly. It's like
I would definitely say the second movie is less tight.
Like
than
when
I
he's trying
remember
on the suit.
like
it.
they don't show that's in 2.5 or whatever, Spider-Man 2.5, when he wait, what you're talking about when J. Jonah Jameson wears the suit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in like Spider-Man 2.5.
Is it? I could.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's not in the movie.
I
yeah,
remember that. I must have watched the deleted scene.
because he
Yeah.
does the little webbing. He's all pew, pew, pew,
Yeah.
pew,
Yeah.
and they're like watching him from the office window. Like, what the hell
Yeah.
is he doing?
Yeah, I've definitely never seen that, or I don't remember seeing that. For
Yeah.
sure.
2.5, man. I bought that on a whim, and it hasn't served me well except for this moment, I think.
Poor John Jameson. What a waste of a character.
Yeah, and then I like when he jumps from the pier to the boat, and I'm just thinking, nice jump, Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man
Cable Guy.
2.1.
2.1, is that what it is? Okay, I'm getting the
Yeah,
numbers.
it's not 2.5. Oh, I get even stupider.
Dude, J. Jonah, like there's some really good comedy moments by characters that matter in the story. That's why I felt weird that we had all these extra comedy moments by insignificant characters like Hal Sparks and stuff. Like when Otto is getting ready to like do the whole like fusion thing, and he starts with a joke and he says, by the way, has anyone lost a large roll of 20s and a rubber band? Because we found the rubber band. I was like, that's such a good joke. Why is it here? Why is it here in this movie?
Wait, why are you saying
Like,
that?
Yeah, it just felt like that was an ad lib because he thought it would just make his character a little more charming. It did, but it just felt weird and out of place. But the other one I really liked was at the engagement party, or I think it's before it's an engagement party, when J. Jonah is making Tobey or Peter take pictures of him with everybody, and he's like, "Get a picture with me and the mayor's wife or the mayor's girlfriend." And the mayor's girlfriend. Oh my god, that's such a good scene.
It's freaking Martha Huber from Desperate Housewives.
Oh yeah, the woman that's playing his wife, right?
As his wife, yeah,
that was so funny. J.K. Simmons is like just the most perfect actor in those movies. Like, and that's why I'm so happy that Sony just like said, continuity be damned, we're bringing him back. We're just
figure it out.
We don't give a shit. You figure it out.
Figure it out because we need this guy. Like, he sells it, and that's why I'm so excited at the possibility of him having a bigger role in the third one, because I just feel like however zany this third movie gets, it has enough J. Jonah that he gets an action figure this time around.
It's a different, it's like with the times, like we got newspaper Jonah, and now we get Alex Jones,
the podcast or webcast.
I'm fine with that.
Like, I love it.
I think it's kind of funny too. Like, I want to think that Feige was all like, shit, I can't think of a reason to get Jonah. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to put him in, like, post credits. We're going to put him in, and then we'll let the fans figure it out. We'll let them do their fan theories, and then we'll just pick the best one and run with that. I want to think that
I think he's just playing the same character. Like, I just think, or he's playing the same. I'll say the same character.
Exactly.
He's just playing a version of that character.
Until they confirm it, we're only guessing. And Feige's going to jack what you just said right now. He's going to be like, oh, no, he's just playing the same character.
Feige can jack whatever he wants from me or on me. So
he's going to steal our ideas and then kill us like he did Epstein.
Wow. You heard it here first, I guess.
2 Epstein jokes.
Is it 2? Are we up to 2 already?
Yeah, we're at 2.
Yeah, we had an Epstein joke in the first one.
Should we have a counter on here? I could try and find a way to put
Frank's
them in
Epstein count.
The Epstein counter. That would be awesome.
I gotta say though, like, I know we were giving Tobey so much crap for taking those masks off, but like, God, it hurt to see his ugly face when he's running, and then his ugly face when he's stopping the subway from the subway train. Those are some of the most ugly superhero faces I've ever seen. Yes, that was
It's
pretty good, actually,
weird.
Ricky.
When he smiles
Really
and
bad.
when he strains, he makes the
He's-
same face. And
I
it's
Oh
can-
ugly.
my
I
god.
can appreciate that he's like the buffest Spider-Man that we've gotten. Pretty beefy in these movies.
Okay. I don't
You
know
don't
that
like
I care. I don't
You don't
care.
like a buff Spider-Man?
I
You
don't.
like your Spider-Man's buff?
I like him svelte.
I like a buff Spider-Man.
I like
don't need him to be
Andrew
buff.
Garfield's, I think, body type the best as a Spider-Man. Like I
think,
like my
he
tall
works
lanky.
so well because it's the suit. There's just a slight bagginess to his suit that is like
Oh yeah, and in Amazing 2, right?
yes, and amazing. Or even the first movie though, there's still like there's
well,
a
I mean,
looseness to it.
You're right. There is a looseness to it, but I don't dig the mountain climber gloves and shoes in the first.
No,
Amazing.
yeah, I don't like the overall look of that particular costume, but
I think his costume in Amazing 2. Yeah, that costume's perfect. Actually, that's probably the best costume in all of the movies. All
He dies and gives his costume to Tom Holland.
It's like, oh, this shit doesn't
or
fit.
Tom Holland wears it to honor him. How about that?
Tom Holland just smells it.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
And then he's all, Karen, get in this suit. Get in this suit, Karen.
And it's Tobey's job to go bury him. He's gonna go bury him back in his universe.
What happens if those two Spider-Men kiss?
Oh, nice.
That would be interesting. I could be okay with that.
We're going back to not Spider-Man.
Breaks the multiverse.
I got it.
So the story. Oh, sorry, you were gonna ask a question.
Oh yeah, no. It was about the wedding. I forgot to bring this up because I was saying earlier that I liked Mary Jane more in the second movie, but I forgot there is one little thing at the very, very end of the movie that was so damn trashy. Like you made out with him the night before, possibly even more nights. We don't know how many days take place before, like from when she's rescued to when she gets married.
Gets married, yeah.
Who actually leaves someone at the altar, like especially when the wedding's that big of a production? Like, it's an expensive wedding when the bridesmaids are all wearing black. Like, what is that? Who wears black? Like, I don't know. But to leave the wedding in the dress, that's like reality TV trashy, dude.
Well, remember when she kisses him upside down, like in the second movie?
I don't even know that I mind that. I minded it more when I was younger, when I was in the 20s. But like,
hey,
I don't
kiss me
mind
like
that
this
now.
one guy did.
No,
in an alley.
I think it's perfectly fine to like have doubts about the wet. You're right. Like, and you want to like figure that out. You want to like it. To me, it shows that she's having doubts, but it does not justify her letting them spend that much money and get everybody all your relatives and stuff to come to that wedding, and then get the dress on, and then decide.
This is an early TSA New York. They had to figure some shit out at the airport to get there.
Seriously, flying in was not easy by that point. By 2004, that sucked. So I'm just saying that is super trashy. Super trashy. So
look where she grew up.
I just had to complain about that, like, because it just hurt me. It hurt me to see her do one last trashy
an abusive
thing.
Relationship from her dad. So
yeah,
she doesn't know.
Fine.
She can just use that. That's fine.
I kind of felt like that's like her whole thing is she's always finding a way to be better than the upbringing that she had. So no,
she forgot. No. She forgot.
Yeah. All right, I'm done bitching about that. I needed to get that out of the way. You vent for a minute. If you got anything
where's Frank's saucy story?
Oh yeah, well it's not that saucy. It's so I was at a Green Day show. This is probably I want to say early 2000s. I don't remember if Spider-Man had come out, but I didn't make the connection until later on. And there was a girl, and she was wearing one of those shirts. It was like a thin shirt, no bra, but she had like little strings like around the neck and around the back. And it was in the pit of the Green Day show. It wasn't very far from the stage. And the mosh pit started like moving. It was like a tidal wave of people. And so like when one person moved, it would just move the entire wave. It was like being in the ocean. And one guy goes up to her shirt and he unties it and then pulls it off like during the show. So then I just hit the guy. I just punched the guy right in the face. And so we start fighting. And like in the middle of the fight, I give her my jacket to cover her up. And then the guy gets knocked down and people are trying to pick him up or whatnot. And I pull her by the arm and get her out of the pit, you know. And, you know, she thanks me. She gives me like, you know, a big MJ funeral kiss. And I'm all like, cool, that's awesome. So I decided I was going to, you know, kind of hang out and wait for her to make sure she was okay because she went to the bathroom. And when she came out of the bathroom, it looked like she had a boyfriend. Like they were walking like kind of arm in arm, like in like an embrace. She had fixed her shirt and she had ditched my jacket somewhere. I don't know where the fuck she left my jacket. That was the last time I saw that sick, nice padded Dickies jacket, but whatever. But it looked like she had a boyfriend, but it was very similar, I thought, to thinking about it last night, to the Spider-Man experience where she didn't have to give me the sloppy wet MJ kiss. Like that was just like a bonus. Like, hey, you kind of saved my dignity like a second, or kind of fought for me for a second. So I appreciate that. But without saying anything, you know, I've got a boyfriend also. So he's who I'm going home with tonight. Yeah.
Frank got white knighted.
Is it possible at this concert that she may have been under the influence of something?
I think anything's possible. I didn't.
Oh, I'm not saying like you couldn't get somebody to kiss you otherwise, but I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like I'm willing to consider to concede that inebriation would allow for somebody to be a little less thoughtful about, you know, the whole situation going on. So like I feel like a concert's a pretty good place to be somehow
to be
under the influence of something like that. Because I've definitely had moments like that where I get kissed and I, you know, like I don't like, well, okay, I'm not gonna say no to that, you know what I mean? But like I'm just saying, like, we like at least she can see your face, bro. You know what I mean? Like, because we're not really talking about the funeral kiss so much. It's the trashy one is the
I was using that as an example, and
the upside down one is the first trashy. Like at least the funeral, like they're not together anymore.
But what I'm saying is, in the moment, you kind of let go of certain inhibitions.
Sure,
release your inhibitions. Feel the rain on your skin.
And to be fair, just to be clear,
what is that? I know that song. What is that, Ricky?
It's
I know it too, and I can't feel the rain on your skin.
No one else can feel it for
you. Is that Alanis?
And Natasha
No.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Betty Field.
That's right.
Okay. But yeah, I think for me, it's just that like I judge her in that moment because of the context of everything that we've been presented in the story. Yeah. We as the audience have been presented with all of that context, you know, so we know that she's got that boyfriend and stuff like that, you know, like, so like you didn't learn about the boyfriend until after the fact, you know, like, and so like
it might not have been. It could have been like her dad or something,
right? But it also
her similarly aged dad.
But what it did is it also reshaped your context of that experience as it happened, right?
Yeah.
Because you were waiting for it, because you're like, well, I just got kissed by somebody, and then like,
well, she's like, my girlfriend now, obviously.
But yeah, exactly. But the difference here is Peter is the person wearing that mask, and Peter fully knows that she has a boyfriend who happens to be living with him.
But Peter fully knows she has a boyfriend who broke the bro code, so they can do anything to him.
That's
like once you break the bro code, it's excommunicado. James Franco, excommunicado.
I won't argue that one. I'll let you have your upside down kiss, Frank. But let's admit that like The funeral kiss is trashy as
Funeral
fuck,
kiss is
dude.
trashy, and the
Yeah.
wedding is trashy.
The wedding is trashier. The wedding's trashier in a big way.
And what I especially don't like about the wedding, the jilted altar thing, is how it ends on such a down note. You see Mary Jane, or he swings triumphantly through the city, and then you see Mary Jane like looking all dour, and the music ends on like a
and
drum beat.
she's not sure if it's gonna work out for her, you know. Like,
Yeah, she's making that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of doubt cast on it, and I'm like, man,
and
you should have just ended it on the triumphant swing.
and they do try and play it down a little bit, the trashiness of the wedding thing, by reminding you that, well, at least she's sticking Jay Jonah with the bill, right? Like it's so like you're supposed to feel like that's funny. And I promise you, in 2004, I did think that was funny.
Damn,
I
you
did.
weren't woke.
No, I wasn't because I didn't know how much weddings cost, dude. And I didn't know all the work that goes into weddings and stuff like that. And I didn't own a home, and I didn't have all this adult stuff available to me, you know. So like
they probably had to do rehearsal dinners and
and
fittings.
so that's what I'm saying. Like, seeing it through the eyes of an adult is different because like Sam Raimi wasn't seeing those movies through the eyes of an adult, which is kind of a testament to Sam Raimi for doing those movies, because like he did really manage to channel his inner child while he made those clearly, and that is awesome. But like there were glimpses of adulthood, and I thought they were really cool because they were really subtle, so subtle I didn't even pay attention to them back then, probably because I wasn't a full grown ass adult. And you could debate whether or not I'm a grown ass adult considering all the stuff I got behind me. But or the shirt I'm wearing or anything else I do, like this podcast and stuff. But I thought in the first movie there's this really cool moment where you're meeting Uncle Ben and he's looking for a job, and he pulls out the newspaper, which is such a thing of its time also, right?
Yeah.
And he starts looking at the classified ads for jobs, and he's computer this, computer that, computer. Yeah, even the computers need analysts these days, you know, like, and he felt like this defeated old man who was just like past. He was a relic, you know, he was a relic of that time.
Yeah, he recognized that he was a relic.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool because I don't think you're allowed to do that scene in 2021. Like I think 2002 might have been the last time that was a relatable scene to people in that audience, right? Like that there was people, adults that were taking their kids to see Spider-Man that fully understood what Uncle Ben was going through. Because in 2021, if you don't know how to use a freaking computer, man, you better be retired. You better be retired. It's like
you better be old. You better be Uncle Ben's age.
Yeah, you better not be looking for a job, please. And then I thought the other one that was cool was in the second movie when Peter finds out that the bank is foreclosing on May's house.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, you know, like he confronts her about it, and she says that, oh, you know, I'm a little behind, but everybody we all are. Everybody's a little behind. Yeah. And I thought that was really cool because like I looked it up because I couldn't remember, but like that was right at the end of what they called the Great Recession. Mm-hmm. And so like it was interesting that Raimi was having these little callbacks to like or not callbacks, but cues to the older people that were likely in that audience with their kids, or maybe they were old people that did grow up reading the comics like he did, you know, because I know they threw in that joke at the end at the yard sale. It's like, where's all my comic books? And that story that's like verbatim. That's my dad's story. My dad used to tell me how much it hurt him when he found out that he had gone to the Navy and stuff, and he came back home and his mom had totally thrown out his comic books in the trash. And stuff.
My dad has the same story too.
Yeah, exactly. So many people have that story, and that's actually the reason why there was such a comic boom in the 90s, is because parents were all telling their children about these stories, and there's a handful of people that had these treasures that had like mint ink card Star Wars action figures from the 70s or perfectly great condition comic books from the 60s, and they were worth thousands of dollars now, and it prompted all of us as children to go and want to collect things and be like, maybe we could do the same thing. And so like now like everybody in the world has a copy of X-Men #1, and it's worth like, I don't know, like $20 or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
everybody has Spawn now.
Spawn #1 is like the most like circulated #1 ever. So I think it might be X-Men #1 still. I'm not sure, but like
Yeah, the Jim Lee one.
I've tried to sell my comics from the 90s, and comic book dealers just like laugh at me because like everybody
You're
collected
trash.
comics from the 90s. Yeah, it's all trash. Not all
Stupid
trash.
All about
Superman,
NFTs,
or
baby.
Death of Superman is also another one of those that it was crazy when it came out, but now it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
$10, $15.
There's a Death of
But-
Superman poster at my grandma's house.
But
Oh,
I
yeah.
I thought it was cool that he was putting these little nods to the older audiences that were watching this movie and making
That's cool.
finding ways to make it relatable to lots
Those
of people. And
definitely went over my head.
yeah.
For
And
sure.
I know exactly. And it went over my head when I was in my 20s too. Like I didn't even think about it. I didn't care about mortgages when I was in my 20s. You know what I mean?
Not
Like,
my problem.
All I
Exactly.
cared about was that Aunt May offered him $20 when she's already broke, and I'm like, "Don't
And
do
she-
it, Aunt May."
yeah, that hurt, right? And she
Yeah.
cried, like trying to
I'm like,
you take
"Ugh."
this money from me. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, she gets
I
mad.
know that feeling too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. We have I have an aunt that does that too. So
She gives you money and cries and fucking yells at you.
Yes.
You don't
yeah,
take her
all
money.
three.
Take my
not
money.
exactly, but sure, something like that.
She's all rent. She chases you around for rent.
God,
We're
man,
gonna
like,
say, Ricky, you had some.
My
I had
rant
that
is over,
something.
by the way.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Those movies, you know, they obviously mean a lot to people that they made a way for them to bring them back. This, or I guess supposedly rumored to bring them all, you know, bring those movies back in some way.
Yeah, I
Back
would
on the big
say
screen.
they're the closest thing we have to a modern, timeless superhero story. They're almost timeless. Like
They're close. They do
they're-
the
they're
Bill and
pretty
Ted
close.
thing
yeah,
on occasion.
they really do. And I think those little things helped, you know, like those things that'll always be relatable. Like, you know, like not feeling like feeling like a relic in your own in the world you try to work in, or not being able to make rent or something like that, you know, like that's always going to be like, and that is the core of Spider-Man, right? Is like having these relatable moments.
Yep.
So I do appreciate that. That's the movie that gave that to us better than the other ones, for sure.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
because we definitely don't get Aunt May as like trying to make rent in Marissa Tomei's performance. Like, I don't really ever feel like Aunt May's in a lot of trouble in those movies.
Yeah, she's not very
Yeah.
financial.
She's just like-
she seems financially stable.
Yeah, and she's like flirting with she's getting free food from the Thai guys, the Thai food place, because like
Yeah, hanging out with Happy.
She's hella
yeah,
hot.
here's
Happy's
some free
making money,
larb.
right?
Here's larb.
There's
Yeah.
some larb. I larb you.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get that impression with Sally Fields, but I will say it's been like at least a decade since I've seen The Amazing Spider-Man. So we'll see what happens. I
That's
want
a
to see.
lie. It's been
How long's it been?
2012.
2012. All right.
Yeah.
So it's been 9 years. Sorry.
What's a
Sorry.
lie?
It's been 9 years. The last time I saw it was in the
It's-
theater.
Amazing Spider-Man.
I hated it
That's
that
a
much.
2012 movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that was
totally a lie.
like one of the first movies that came out when I first moved out here.
Spider-Man 3 was 2007, the 1 year before Iron Man. That's just nuts to me. Ever since I can't. Which, by the way, that does bring up something, because you know, like we brought it up in the main show, and I thought it was a fun point of discussion. And it actually kind of
Scorpion King?
prompted. No. Like when we were talking about in the main show how I learned a lot about you and how many of these movies jaded you.
Oh yeah.
And
Mhm.
I was saying, you know, that would be kind of a fun thing to do if we did something kind of like, you know, the group that we love so much, Red Letter Media, how they do a best of the worst. Like if we did something like that for all those horrible movies that hurt Frank's soul or hurt my soul or something like that, and we watch those and then maybe just like maybe had guests to watch them with. Like we could stream that. It doesn't have to be a live stream because that would be long. But
Watch
maybe
Fantastic Four.
edit it out. Oh, we would definitely watch the original Roger Corman Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah,
I like the 2000s one.
Yeah, and that's the reason. We're not trying to find the movies you like. Like
they were made for me, made for dumb kids.
But that'd be great. Some of them have raised in my esteem a little bit, like Barbed Wire. I talked to Pirate Dave about that one actually, because I think that's unironically one of his favorite movies. And he's all like, it's Casablanca. It's like Casablanca, basically. And I'm all, what? And I watched it with Casablanca in mind the entire time. And I'm all like, all right, this movie's like Casablanca with tits, and I kind of like it.
Ian says, I don't hate amazing films aside from Jamie Foxx's performance. Looking forward to a rewatch. Fun fact, I let Frank and Ricky know this one already, but I don't own that movie. I've seen it. I've seen it once ever. It was free. It was when Sony gave us free tickets to go see that movie for work. I saw it. Lindsay she couldn't go, or I couldn't. I think for that screening, we weren't allowed to bring a guest. And so I went and saw it without my wife. And the movie theater was right down the street from my apartment at the time. Actually,
that's the Edwards.
The movie theater is still right down the street from my house. Like I can literally just drive my chair there. I went to the movies. As soon as the movie ended, I rushed home, and my poor wife had to listen to me yell at the top of my lungs for a good hour about how much I hated that freaking movie, and how much it hurt me, because there were some moments of pure joy that were, I think, some of the best Spider-Man I've ever seen, still to this day, in that very same movie.
He's a good Spider-Man.
I think he might be the best Spider-Man.
And
I think he might be the best one.
The interactions between him and Gwen Stacy.
It's okay. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
We're getting ahead of ourselves with that.
From what I remember,
we're gonna do this next week. But my point was, we should consider doing a best of the worst. And then the other point that I was gonna get to was, I think that I wanted to talk about how, I realized while I was talking to you, Frank, about what made you so cynical is when I identified, I think to a T, the moment when I became a cynical comic book nerd too, which was I realized, because I had not had enough movies burn me at that point in time when Spider-Man came out.
Yeah.
But by the time Spider-Man 3 had come out, and that was already, I think, was that after X3? I feel like it was
2006, 2005. We can look.
X3 and Superman Returns were in the same year, right?
I think they were a year apart. So X3 is 2006, and Superman Returns, Spooderman.
2005.
Is it 2005?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Man, I keep writing Spooderman. Superman.
That's a different result.
I'm getting all this. 2006, yeah, same year.
I know they were the same year. Well, I was pretty sure they were, because they had to swap directors.
Oh, that's right. Duh. Yeah, of course. Because that's why Marsden was out of one project, and then
they swapped directors because at the time.
What happened?
That's right.
Were you not listening to us?
So Bryan Singer did the first two X-Men movies, and he stepped away to do Superman Returns, and they got Brett
an
Ratner.
Opportunity, even though people loved his two X-Men movies, some more than others, because I know Frank's not a big fan of some things, but they loved him. Like, dude, he was one of the first big giant fan reactions at Comic-Con back in the day. Before he predated Hall H, because I think the Bryan Singer
I remember Bryan Singer being a big
Ballroom
deal.
20 or something.
Ballroom 20, yeah. But man, the fans just loved him because we didn't know he was a sex pest. And
you guys are all in
it broke our hearts when he was doing interviews and saying he got this opportunity presented to him and he felt he had to take it, which was they offered Superman to him. And originally it was who's that the asshole that did X3? Brett Ratner.
Brett Ratner, yeah.
Brett Ratner was attached to. Yeah. originally
you would
he
think
was
he would make a
attached.
good movie if he's a sex pest. You would think.
Yeah, he was attached to the Superman reboot because for whatever reason. But then when the studios found out they could get Singer, they got rid of Ratner, and then Fox was left holding the bag with X-Men 3. So they actually hired Brett Ratner to do that movie. And both movies are steaming piles of trash that made me so angry at superhero movies that from then on I could never look at them through an innocent lens. I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, so 2006 was definitely, I think, the moment. And it didn't help that we had movies before that like Daredevil and
So Daredevil's a guilty pleasure of mine. I really like Daredevil. I hate myself for liking Daredevil, but I like.
there are
Daredevil.
things I really like about Daredevil. So I can't but those things are not Ben Affleck. I actually like Colin Farrell and I like
Michael Clark Duncan. I like
Michael Clark Duncan. In both of them I like in that movie way more. I don't necessarily know that
came out.
We'll it's going on the list. We're gonna do that one for sure because it's a
I've
bad
never
movie.
seen Elektra.
It is a bad movie. Elektra is actually, I kind of liked it more, and I think the reason I liked it more is because it actually embraced the mystical, and I felt like Marvel was really trying to shy away from that stuff a lot. So
yeah, I would agree. It had a lot more balls than Daredevil, at least.
It did. It had way more balls. Yeah, like she actually. Does she die and get resurrected in that movie? I can't remember.
Yeah, because she died in the movie, in the first movie, and then
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. But anyways, Superman Returns was the pinnacle of me being salty, and I think I was working with Frank at the time, and so he got to hear to hear me hate on that movie.
We were all pretty mad at the movie though. Like, I think that's the pinnacle of when I was so salty with that. I didn't like Iron Man 100% when it first came out. It took me like a little bit of time to warm up to Iron Man.
Yeah,
because I was already I was at peak salt.
I think Comic-Con instilled me with faith in Iron Man because they did the thing in 2006. You know what I mean? Where we got to see Tony.
Yeah, you're right.
And we got to be like, this. I think this might be the most perfect casting ever.
Yeah,
so.
No, I don't argue that at all. When I saw that Robert Downey Jr. was announced, I'm all like, oh, you're perfect. Yeah. Oh, you're perfect. It's good.
Yeah,
it might be good. But
then I can see how there would be
stuff.
It's reasonable to be skeptical because the special effects that are required for Iron Man were way beyond most of the things that we had seen at the time, and so like even if they nailed
Iron Man 1 looks very different than Iron Man 3. The actual Iron Man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the suits look different.
Well, they definitely moved away from like an actual suit, from practical effects. Sorry,
they weren't all practical effects.
There's a lot more practical in the first movie than there is in the. There's some in the second.
They still
there's practical in all movies. I was
gonna say in all of them they did a lot where they had the computer generated layered over that bulky suit that he would have to wear. He would wear like an upper torso.
You'd wear the chest. Yeah.
And in all the movies,
like
even up to Endgame.
Yeah,
he was still doing that.
And I think that's what helped make the suit look more realistic in a lot of movies.
I think there's still a consistency across all the movies. Like, do special effects look better in 2008 than they do in 2016? No, but like, whatever. Like, I forgive
Avatar
them for that.
Changed the game a little bit, but
yeah, but I don't really want to go back and watch Avatar again either right now. Like, it's
that movie holds up.
Same.
Does it?
I think 2006 definitely had the bad movies, and then icing on the cake was 2007's Ghost Rider. And I was
that was 2007 also, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm
Ava
like,
Mendes.
We got Ghost Rider and Spider-Man 3 in the same year.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
I mean, 2008 was Iron Man and Dark Knight, dude. Like that's
it was the 1-2 punch of good movies. Yep.
He's like, gotta get the superhero shit
with a Hulk in the middle.
With the forgettable. I like that Hulk. I liked that Hulk.
I liked it at the time. At the time, I liked it.
Yeah.
And that's, it was still better than a lot of things that we'd seen at the time.
Yeah,
Was
it was like
was it better? Was it better than Tobey Spider-Man 1 or 2? No, like it was not. Was it better than Ang Lee's? Yes.
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
But-
We have to put that on the list. By the way, when did Ang Lee's Hulk come out? Because that's when
2003?
Bitter Dennis started. That's when I started down
2003,
the path.
2003.
Okay, yeah, that was the beginning of the end for me.
That tracks.
Yeah.
No, but like I think the movies like Judge Dredd and Tank Girl burned me because those movies, like, I derived a lot of like happiness from those comic books back in the day because they were like, whenever Marvel or DC would get stale, like Dark Horse was always there for me, or some random, off-brand comic company was there for me, to kind of keep me entertained and to tell stories that DC and Marvel didn't have the balls to. So like to see them portrayed on screen like
Is
they
that
were,
Brittany Murphy?
is pretty bad.
Is Tank Girl?
No,
No, that's the chick from League of Their Own.
It's
Laura Petty.
Lori Petty.
Okay.
Lori Petty.
Yeah. You know the
I've
thing
never heard
about
of Tank Girl.
I like the movie, honestly, but again, the difference is I didn't read the books.
What the fuck is this dog with dreadlocks?
Yeah. Yes. In retrospect, I do like Tank Girl a little better, and that was also through talking to Pirate Dave.
I didn't post Ian's last comic because it won't put that on my screen, but I will put this one up here.
Nice.
Tank Girl is amazing, and you shut your mouth.
I like it now. I like it in retrospect, but like the comic was so much better. The comic did a lot more with the character and stuff, and I was hoping that they would at least make a franchise out of it and maybe make up for it a little bit. Kind of get into like her more I don't know, like she had like a real anarchist kind of nature about her, and they didn't really, I guess they did kind of touch on it, but it didn't feel genuine to the comic. It didn't feel like it was parody to the comic.
I think I have a question. Like, how did you get your comics when you were a kid? Because you were younger than me, but I feel like you were definitely reading more comics than I was as a kid.
I bought them from, there was a comic store near the house that had one of those
7-Eleven, right?
I did get them at 7-Eleven. That's when I started. Early 90s, I would steal them from 7-Eleven.
Gotcha. That helps. Got it.
Mid to late 90s was an actual comic store when I had more money.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't have a lot of money in the 90s outside of like maybe an allowance or so, so like I think I was just buying less comics. So like for me, it was about buying sure things. So like that's why I always stuck with Marvel and DC because they knew that they weren't. I knew they no. I wasn't buying Spawn until college.
Oh really?
Yeah, I didn't buy Spawn until college because somebody got me into Spawn, and or you know what I think it was is that Clark, like I wasn't even collecting comics in like around 96. 95, 96, because I was just doing a lot of other stuff. Like
Clark's
I think
against next week, right?
Yeah. But in 90s, late or like in 97, I think Clark, he was living with me, and he had found out that there was a local comic store that was doing like an auction, and he thought it would be a cool thing to go try. And so we went there and we just like randomly were buying like comics that we thought seemed cool. Like I think I got Maximum Carnage #1 there or something like that. Okay. And
that's Spider-Man Unlimited #1. That's the first Maximum Carnage.
Yeah. I think that one. Yeah. I think I got a foil version of it or something like that. I'm not sure.
That's cool. That one had the crazy paper, like that felt like a cover. Like that's when they first started doing that weird paper. Yeah.
But it's in the top loader. Like, so like, I don't even know if I ever took it out. I'm not sure. But we ended up, I think that's when I found Spawn. Oh no, I know when I found Spawn. It was because he had an HBO show that year too. He had an HBO show.
A cartoon?
And animated series, I think is the preferred term.
Cartoon.
Little dumb cartoon, silly little cartoon.
And that's why I started buying Spawn, because because Clark had taken me to a comic store, now I knew where I could get comics.
Yeah.
And so we started making more frequent trips to that store.
So that's
And then
97.
so
your
97 is when I
descent
started
down
reading.
this road is all because of Clark.
So I started reading a bunch of Spawn the year that the movie came out. Because that was 97 is when Spawn came out.
Is that when it came out? Spawn?
Yes, 100% certain.
It came out the same year as the animated series.
The series might have come out at the end of 96. But the movie came out in 97. Okay. Summer of 97. So did Batman and Robin.
No, 97, really?
I remember going to Taco Bell to get those cups.
Dude, I still have them. Or McDonald's. I have the McDonald's glasses.
McDonald's?
Yeah. There's like a Riddler glass that the handle is a question mark. And...
Oh no, it was Taco Bell had the Star Wars toys.
Yeah, from episode 1 when they released
right?
Episode 1. Yeah, because they had little pogs that when you opened up the top of the drink container, because I know because I stole a bunch.
I just remember this like Yoda thing that you would look in one side and it's Yoda, and the other side it was Vader. This little cube.
What was that? I do remember that toy, but I don't know.
The Star Wars re-releases were in 97 or 98.
That might have been what it is.
Yeah, it's the re-releases. That's right. I do remember.
They did the re-releases first before the.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that in that old theater.
I feel like they were 97 or 98. Is those?
I might have that at my mom's house. I wonder.
Yeah. But I vividly remember
Batman and Robin 97. Holy crap!
Yeah,
that was a bad year, except for the animated Spawn.
I think animated Spawn might have started at the end of 96, but I'm pretty certain it was going into 97. But yeah, I think that year was just the year of Spawn. I think that's what they were marketing it as too, and so you got two different versions of it, and I really loved the Keith David one so much that that's why I went and started collecting those books. So I definitely was disappointed by Spawn. But at the same time, I kind of I told you, I chalked it up to studios just weren't willing to invest as much resources into black-led films at the time. You know what I mean? They were higher risk high risk, low reward is usually what it was. And so they did put more money into Spawn than most black-led movies you would get back then. But
the effects back then were pretty damn good.
For the time, they were good. Yeah, but it's a pretty
poorly acted movie.
It's a poorly acted movie for sure.
It is. Yeah. But I think you're correct with the statement about the black-led movies and studios not wanting to take the risk on them. But also the people portraying the parts didn't always seem to take it seriously. You could always see a little twinkle in the eye, especially with the villains.
Martin Sheen is pretty just he phoned it in. He was there because his grandson likes Spawn.
Yeah, he didn't give a shit.
He said that in interviews too.
Did he really?
What?
Yeah, they asked him why he was in that movie, and he said because his grandson told him how awesome Spawn is, and if he didn't do it, he'd be mad at him.
Wow.
What? Martin Sheen is in Spawn. We'll watch Spawn, Ricky. It's going to happen.
Blowing your minds? Are we blowing your mind?
We're gonna watch Spawn. It's happening for sure.
S to the P to the A to the on.
Yeah. But that's when I started collecting all of that stuff. So to get back to what we were saying, because that was a fun tangent. I was only collecting what I considered sure things because I couldn't afford a lot of, because I think I was just more into video games at the time. So my money usually went to video games. And I just had a subscription to Amazing Spider-Man, and I'd pick up I'd go to flea markets and pick up comics where I could.
That's cool.
For cheap and stuff like that. But it wasn't a full on compulsion until the late 90s, the very late 90s, and then the early 2000s. When I started working at Sony, by then, that was a lot of disposable income and a lot of comics that were coming in every Wednesday, all the time.
Cool. I had actually given them up towards the late 90s. That's how bad these movies have burned me that I stopped reading comics. I was just over it, and I sold my collection. And I want to say around 2003, I met a woman at the comic book store at the comics and stuff in Mission Valley, and one of the many places where they had a comics and stuff, because they would always move that store around. There was a girl that worked there, and she was all like, "Oh no, you should totally check out Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man. They totally like remade it and made it accessible for people just trying to get back into it." She totally sold me on it. She's salesperson me. So I bought Ultimate Spider-Man, and then
she's good at her job.
Yeah, she's great at her job. And then I had like 6 subscriptions all of a sudden. And then
did she give you a big sloppy wet kiss too?
She did not. But I didn't punch anyone for her, so
gotcha.
That's the secret. It's not poetry. It's not T.S. Eliot. You got to punch someone. You punch someone, and that's like 10 T.S. Eliots. It's more complicated than advanced science. I'll tell you that much.
Sure is. It
but,
sure is. Right?
But yeah, so that's what got me into it. So by the time we met, like I was spending maybe $100 to $150 a week on like comic books, and I wish I can get that money back.
All right, I definitely was never there. I was never going that far. I think for the Ultimates, what I was doing was I was buying them in trade.
You were smart about it. You were smart.
Yeah. So I have, and they look good because they're all right here on my shelf.
And then
it's all displayed together and stuff.
Yep.
Marvel Unlimited came out.
And now I don't collect comics, and I wish I could get rid of all the boxes I have right now.
And I almost agree. I was just thinking about that, because if I keep collecting comics, I'm just going to end up with boxes. I've got like 40 or 50 short white boxes at my mom's house right now. And then
I capped out at about 13 or 14.
13 or 14.
So,
I have like 4 white boxes here that's steadily growing. And I'm just like, shit, man. At this rate, another couple of years, I'm going to have a few more boxes. It's just a mess. And all I'm collecting now is pretty much Spider-Man and a couple like one-offs. Like I have Shang-Chi, and I have a couple others that have just come out. Usually Spider-Man related, but yeah, I gotta temper it.
I think you should consider going to the drive-in for Eternals.
You think so?
I think you should.
The drive-in. So now that we've moved, that drive-in is about 2.5 hours away from me.
Okay, don't do that.
So I'd have to do that.
Get your booster.
Don't do that. Just wait for your booster.
I'll send you some links after the stream.
I will say this.
You can figure it out.
And this is not a spoiler at all.
Yeah.
The events, none of the events of Shang-Chi, matter at all to this movie, and none of the events of this movie matter at all to Shang-Chi. And I can almost guarantee you that none of the events of either movie will matter to Spider-Man.
We can remember this movie was supposed to come out after Black Widow.
So exactly. So you can watch them out of order, and it's fine.
And it's fine.
So don't worry about it. Are there cool things that happen in the post credits? Yes, they are much cooler than the post credits of Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, good.
They are better.
Is there a mid and post or just a post?
Yep.
Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, mid and post.
Yeah.
Mid and post.
Yeah.
Good. All right, cool.
Even the pre-credits last few moments of the movie is pretty bonkers. It's a pretty bananas movie. Like if you step back from the movie after you've watched it and you're like, what the hell did I just watch?
Watch that movie.
It's bananas.
Then watch Iron Man 1.
Seriously. And I think that's why I think Ricky was underselling it, is because this movie is a testament to how far we've gone in being able to tell a superhero origin story. You know what I mean? Like Iron Man, every scene was necessary, and they pulled off one character. You know what I mean? They managed to introduce one character to you that you liked forever. I mean, I'm not saying that all the supporting cast wasn't good too, but I'm saying Eternals.
Shit, you get 10, Eternals.
10.
You got
plus the Black Knight. You said
that.
He's in it. That's not a secret. So 11 characters. At least I'm
11,
not even
11 so 11 fleshed out characters.
Yes, some of them are less
the
fleshed out than others
as characters.
I was saying 11 plus is what I was.
Well, what's the pacing like then? if there's so many characters. I feel like it's gonna
surprisingly
rush.
surprisingly slow in the middle because they take their time. They take their time to like. So the thing is like the movie starts with just you meeting them all, and there's action, and you're like,
Yeah.
what am I watching? Like, I don't. Okay, this is cool, and like later on, the movie's like, oh yeah, we should probably introduce them so you know their names. Like, so you don't even get to know all their names in the beginning.
They
Like, and it's
straight up-
fine.
Is this a spoiler? The very beginning of that movie.
We're not.
Don't let Ricky do it.
No,
Don't let Ricky do
I'm
it.
talking
I know,
about
I'm just saying. Like,
the
I think
Star
it's really
Wars
cool.
thing at the beginning.
Don't spoil the little things that are cute in the movie. Okay.
Is that a spoiler?
Don't spoil.
Now I'm expecting a Star Wars thing.
Don't spoil the cute things.
I'm expecting them to murder Chewbacca now.
Are we talking about the same thing?
I don't know, but I don't want to spoil the cute
I'm gonna
things.
put it in the chat.
No, don't do that.
Oh no, I can see the chat. I can
Don't
see
look
the
into the
chat.
chat.
Okay, I
No,
won't. I'm looking
don't
at it
do
right
it.
now.
Just don't do it, Ricky. Just show restraint.
Now, let's see it.
Just show restraint and don't do it. Just don't do it.
Just hit send.
But
Ricky.
my point is like they don't waste time introducing them one by one because they know that they need to sell you on the overall team first before you even care to get to know them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like reverse Guardians.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Okay.
It kind of is. And so like it's just team and then in the middle of the movie it's like, all right, one by one, let's go and meet them and so you get to learn who they are. And you might like some more than others, but you get to know them a little bit. You get to know some of their quirks, you get to know who they care about most. You get to know, all these things. And then as you're going, you're like, is this one gonna die? Because I kind of like this one, and so, so you don't like them all the same. Like you won't like them all because like you just can't. Like they can't. Obviously, Gemma Chan is gonna get more time.
Yeah, she's the lead
than other ones do. You know what I mean? Because like that's the point is she's supposed to be the lead. So you just be okay with that. But it's still amazing that you can do that with 10 characters plus extra. Plus. I would say definitely the Black Knight is the least fleshed out one, but that's like it's not his movie,
Yeah, I was gonna say he's probably gonna show up again.
It's not his movie, so don't worry about it. Like it's fine, When we get a West Coast Avengers somewhere down the line, then
is he part of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he's part of Excalibur.
No,
that too.
No,
he's not part of Excalibur.
Are you sure?
The Black Knight is not part of Excalibur. Excalibur's a mutant team.
Black Knight. I thought he was. I guess I'm tripping.
No, he has the ebony blade. Though?
He has the ebony blade as his sword.
Wait, Captain Britain's a mutant?
Yes, we've told you this before. They're all mutants. We've done this before.
Oh,
my god!
Sorry, Euroforce. Euroforce is what I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, Captain. So when you were saying yesterday that the audience probably doesn't understand what they're setting up, you didn't even understand what they're setting up.
No, I don't. I don't know what the fuck they're setting up.
Excalibur, obviously.
It's not to say that they can't also be doing. They can do both. They can set it up like he has ties to the King Arthur story, but the team Excalibur is not really. He's not part of that team, but it doesn't mean he can't be. I'm just saying like he's not. But in any case,
Dane briefly joined Excalibur team, who helped Captain Britain.
Briefly,
yeah.
He's not. I've never seen him.
Hey, if that was the 20 questions, that would have counted.
This is post Heroes for Hire. When was the Heroes for Hire? It's not the 70s one.
Oh, the more recent one?
Yeah,
like 2000 something.
Yeah, okay.
2006, 7. So
it was post that. It's still more
after Civil War.
So then that would be 2008, 2007
or 8, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so post that is when he briefly joined Excalibur.
Yeah, but that comic has existed for many years.
Yeah, and to be fair, like when I was thinking of him joining Excalibur, I was thinking pre that. I was thinking. Gotcha. Well, I was thinking pre that time, so it's not that wasn't the Excalibur team that I was
Yeah.
thinking of.
But anyways,
Euro
I think
Force.
I think Ricky's totally right, and it feels weird how many times I said that today about this movie. But go watch Iron Man 1 and then watch Eternals and be like, okay, you guys have definitely stepped up your game, like for how you do this. Now please explain to me why Shang-Chi was so middle of the road. Like that's the real question. Is like, if you can do that with Eternals, then what's up with Black Widow and Shang-Chi? Like that's my question. Because of the three of them, Eternals was my favorite of the three.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Eternals is better than my favorite MCU movies. It's not. It's but as far as origin movies go, easily one of my favorite ones. Like this will go down like not as good as Guardians for sure, but surprisingly closer than I would have thought. Like yeah, completely like I like that how you put it, Frank, is like reverse Guardians. Like it's kind of what, like when you watch it, you're just like, dude, Zack Snyder, why did you need 4.5 hours or whatever to pull this off?
Because you got to
did
play
need 4 hours?
Hallelujah a couple times.
Oh my god, dude! Like you get some really good Justice League moments in Eternals too, and it's just like sad. It's sad when you see it because you're like, this movie's 2.5 hours long, and it's almost a little too long, a little bit.
Well, it's cool.
You know what?
I'm glad to hear everything what you guys have said about it. How the diversity isn't a detriment to the we just shit on Spider-Man. Diversity isn't a detriment to the entertainment, and it's not pushing an agenda. I appreciate that, and I do appreciate
because there's no like Avengers
concise
Endgame
story
with all the female Avengers.
Hey, Peter Parker.
It's not that. It's
no. You know what though? Like I've been watching a lot of TikTok about that, and like shame on you for bringing that up because like. A lot of people are really starting to point out like why are we still bringing that up? Stop bringing that up. That's gross. Like the reality is that entire 25 or 26 minute sequence of Endgame is all fan service. So what's so wrong with the 30-second scene being in service to a specific set of fans that may not be you? Like, and I fully agree with that. Like, all of it was fan service. That's why Endgame is like weird because it's awesome and bad at the same time, right? It's because like they chose to just satisfy all these
they release their inhibitions.
Yeah, they just completely release their inhibitions. And so like I have no problem with them wanting to include a scene for every little girl that was watching that movie that wanted to see it. It's all contrived. All of that, the entire battle's contrived.
I don't know.
Dude.
I don't think you have to see yourself reflected in the screen to enjoy a scene. Like,
no, you don't.
I don't think you have
but
to.
I'm saying if you don't enjoy it, it's possible
it wasn't meant for you.
It wasn't meant for you that specific moment.
Sure.
You definitely don't have to see yourself reflected to enjoy something. That's why like I can enjoy the gay scenes in this movie even though like I don't
like the way they represented people in this movie.
Exactly. But
for sure.
what does seeing that scene as a gay person feel like? That's got
boner city,
super powerful, you know what I mean? And
boner city is what
it. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, man. As soon as the deaf person started talking in the movie, I choked up a bit. I was like, "That's cool, dude." Like, because like they never explain it. They just don't. And you just it's because nobody should have to. You know what I mean?
They don't.
Like,
they don't. Yeah. They don't joke about it. They don't. It's just a thing that exists. As part of her character, and that's what it is, and it's kind of cool.
But like. They've already done things like this in like horror movies. Horror movies oftentimes.
Oh, I am absolutely not faulting you. Is Marvel way behind? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. That's the point. That's the point I'm making. Yeah.
They're way behind. You don't need to make the point. I totally agree with you. But let's just consider where Marvel is, and like let's appreciate the growth that's happening. Because it's getting there faster than like other things. But
Mhm.
like for sure, horror has been doing it for years. I'm not like I love the horror genre. I love it more than most genres because they dare to do anything, and I think it's partially because they're not even sure people are paying attention. And I think you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I think that's why it works for horror. And then so, that's why I asked you is Chucky taking shit for all the crazy like woke stuff going on in it? And
Crazy amounts of woke
it's
stuff.
probably no, because you know who's watching Chucky? Only the people that
Yeah.
are invested in Chucky at this point. And so I think that's where the rift is happening right now with MCU is, let's not lie, 20 some movies have been catering, maybe unintentionally, maybe intentionally, to a very specific group of people. You know what I mean? Like
I don't think that. I don't think. Well, are you saying nerds, or are you saying a very specific race or gender?
I don't think
No,
I don't think catering's the
I'm
word. It's just like
okay.
you're
Sorry, not catering, but favoring. Sorry, like favoring. Like
Okay.
when you see four white guys named Chris are the lead actors of the majority of the movies. You know what I mean? Like you feel representation without even acknowledging it. You know what I mean? Or without even recognizing it. And when when I sit around and I finally see a white girl in a wheelchair in a shitty Chucky movie, I'm like, oh my god, like this is amazing. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
I have to get it from a shitty Chucky movie because I'm not going to get it.
You're
I'm
not
not
going
going
to
to
get
get
it
it.
from a blockbuster.
Exactly.
you got
Yeah.
Professor X. Yeah,
And I'm so tired of getting Professor X. Like that's
got him
like,
twice.
You got
The
Professor
guy-
X. Stop
You got
whining, Dennis.
the guy that somehow gets to choose whether or not he gets to be in the chair or have super awesome powers.
For a
You know
He's
what I
guy
gonna
in
mean?
a
come back next
wheelchair-
year too. You better like it.
For a guy in a
Yeah.
wheelchair, Professor X fucking walks around so fucking goddamn
I
much.
know.
Either
I
in
hate
the
it
movies
so
or
much.
in the comics, he's always wandering his ass around
So much.
on 2 feet.
Yeah.
Like he is. They always
So,
find
yeah.
reasons for him to walk around.
So that's all I'm saying is it's like I don't really want to talk about the end game scene anymore with all the women because I think I know it meant something to some people, even if it didn't mean something to a lot of people. And so but I feel like, yes, this movie does it better because it just is. It just is what it is. And like
Mhm.
if you don't like it, just leave. Like that's really what it is. Like, but if you're sitting there eye rolling, thinking about all the ways you're going to tear this movie a new one because you saw two guys kiss, like that just
Nice.
I feel bad for you, man. I feel
Spoilers.
bad
See
for
two
you.
guys kiss. Nice. Is it like Rocket Man, or
I've never seen Rocket Man, dude. I don't know.
is it like the upside down in the rain kiss?
Yeah, it's exactly that. They just
Oh,
it's
man.
at Halloween and one's dressed up as Mary Jane
And
and one's
and they're
one's
at their
dressed as
friend's
Spider-Man.
funeral. They're at
Hey,
Yeah.
Peter Parker.
Yeah, it's
Hey, Peter Parker,
exactly-
got something for me? And they just
Yeah.
start making out.
No, but I was so happy, and like you know what it made me realize is like I told Lindsay when I got home because when I saw Shang-Chi by myself in the theater, all I kept thinking is, would this have been better if I had Lindsay with me? Maybe I would have enjoyed things more.
Mhm.
And like and I convinced myself that was the reason that I didn't have a great experience watching that movie. But when I watched this one, I was just glued to it most of the time, other than this old guy that just couldn't hold it and he had to go pee in the middle of the movie and like he had to leave. And like, it's a little distracting whenever somebody's got to do that because it's like whatever. But other than that, I was just fixed to it, and I realized it's not that I didn't have somebody there. It's just that Shang-Chi just didn't entertain me as much, or didn't keep me engaged the entire time. Like there was definitely when you told me you fell asleep through parts of that movie, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I totally feel it. You know what I mean? But I didn't feel tired through this movie ever because I'm like, can we learn about this character now? Because I need to know more about this one. Which one's this one? Like, what's the name of this one? And that helped that I don't know the characters well in the comics enough, anyways, that I wanted to pay more attention. I will say, more than any other Marvel movie ever, I really, really wished I had subtitles on this one because there are almost zero American accents in this movie.
Oh.
I think
That's
Brian
kinda cool.
Tyree. I think Brian Tyree Henry's the only American accent, right? Ricky. I think he
Yes.
is.
Yeah.
Everybody else has some sort of accent,
Yeah.
and some of them are really thick. And sometimes when they're really thick and they're using made up words, like it's like it's like watching Harry Potter, man. Like I don't know what you're saying right now, but I'm gonna rewatch you with subtitles when you come out on Disney Plus.
That's tough to watch sometimes.
Yeah,
But no, I
it's
mean,
a little rough.
I do like it though. Like there was this
Like
one I think in Pirates of the Caribbean Part 2, where Tia Dalma says that because she has the accent, she's all the payment is fear, and like she's saying the payment's fair, but it sounded like she's saying fear, and like in my head I'm thinking the payment's fear, so like they're paying with their fear. Like I was trying to
fear.
I was trying to think about it. I'm all
Yeah.
like, man, what does all that mean? Like I'm trying to unravel it and assess it, and I totally missed the last part of the movie because I was
yeah,
trying
can
to
you
figure that out.
help me with this one in Boomerang? Is Grace Jones saying steel vagina or stale vagina?
I don't know.
What?
I saw Boomerang once.
What? I've seen that
Yeah.
movie so many times.
Do you like
still
it?
don't know what she's saying.
What's Boomerang?
It's an Eddie
It's a
Murphy
great movie. It's a great Eddie Murphy movie.
What
Some
year was
people
that?
say it's not. Some people say it's not. I want to say 92 or 93.
92.
I think that was when
Damn,
he was at
I'm
his
good at
height.
this.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that. He did like his movies in the 90s were really good, except for the latter part of the 90s, I think.
Boomerang was considered, I think, his first bomb.
Was it really?
Not bomb, but it didn't do nearly as well.
Where
as
does a Nutty
previous
Professor
movies.
rank and all that?
Boomerang?
Nutty Professor is a huge hit.
Yeah, that was a hit.
Huge
But
hit.
Was that in the 90s?
Reginald Hudlin
It's in the
did,
90s, yeah.
he did Boomerang also. He's the one he wrote House Party and the reboot of the Black Panther comics and stuff.
96.
Yeah.
Dr.
Yeah,
Dolittle?
I'm trying to
98.
think. Yeah, I think Bowfinger for me was when I was all like, man, I'm done watching Eddie Murphy movies now.
I liked Boomerang a lot, so
The Clumps 2000.
Yeah, I think I skipped Boomerang.
this is going in a weird direction, Eric. But yeah, just to reiterate, you gotta pay attention because and this is a nitpick for sure. Ricky and I were talking about it before you joined us this morning or this for the first show.
Mhm.
They don't explain the accents. Just
That's cool.
everybody just has their own different accent. They all
I'd
choose
rather
to
them
speak
not explain it.
They all speak English for some reason, whatever. But like Salma Hayek has a thick accent.
But even to that extent,
Richard Madden, a thick Scottish accent. Gemma Chan, English accent.
What about Angelina Jolie?
She's got a British accent, right? Like, right, Ricky? She does. It's not as heavy. It's not as heavy.
She just has the Angelina Jolie accent.
You can definitely hear every word she says better than most of the.
But that's what makes it that kind of makes it weird.
Those lips make it easy too because they're so
like
huge.
our conversation before the soapbox. They have accents before people would have accents in our planet.
Well, no, I think the implication is that they caused
gave them
the accents.
Okay,
maybe
they invented the accent.
Maybe, yeah. It's kind of a whole
sounds
2001.
You're making it dumb.
It's kind of a whole 2001 thing, where like they may you know that from the trailers.
They saw the obelisk.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, no, they said as much in the trailers that
they influenced the development of human civilization.
Sorry, I'm so hung up on the Nutty Professor.
Yeah,
were those rated R movies?
Ricky's in his own place right now.
Well, because I saw there's an uncensored version, like a DVD.
The Nutty Professor is not a rated R movie.
Why is there an uncensored
The Nutty
version?
Professor is a Disney
Wait,
movie.
it's an unrated version, and I think that's so they can get like crazy about it.
It's not a Disney movie. It's a Universal movie.
Yeah, it's Universal.
Was it?
Dr. Dolittle, I think it might be Disney, but Nutty Professor 2.
It's fine.
Rating.
But yeah, I'm sure you will you will find things to not like about the movie, and it's not hard to find stuff to dislike. The pacing's weird, but I would say, like the reviews that I read, the third act is freaking awesome. Like whether or not you you survive the slow pace in the middle to make it to the third act.
Mhm.
That's variable.
It's a
for
spectacle.
sure. But the third act is a more fulfilling spectacle than most of the Marvel ones
Mhm.
have been lately, because you actually are invested in the people involved in it. Which is like, I'll never be invested in two kaiju. They're just like they're just randomly showing up at the end of a movie, whatever.
You're not invested
Never.
in Dweller in the Darkness, who
No,
does impressions of Wenwu's wife.
not gonna happen. Never gonna do it. Never gonna do it for me.
That's weird.
I'm
What a
never gonna
bigot.
be invested. I'm never gonna be invested in this entire random group of Black Widows that all jump the main Black Widow. Like, I don't care.
Well,
What
they
is that?
they
You
got
know what I
set
mean? Like,
free, and then one of them went to fight in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't even allowed to care about Taskmaster until they forced me to try and care about Taskmaster. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, Frank? Like, you're like,
it sounded
lately,
like you're sexist, is what I'm hearing.
Lately, it's been hard to care about like the big giant explosion fest at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think you will be pleasantly surprised that this one actually lets you be invested in that part.
That's
so
cool.
the action becomes more fun because
because you care. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. You already had me at drama. Like when you said that it doesn't crack wise like traditional.
I'm gonna
MCU
say,
movies. I'm already
in a movie with Kumail Nanjiani, I expected a lot more wisecracking than I got.
I was expecting him to be the comedic relief.
Once he is brought up to speed on what's happening, he definitely changes his tone.
I heard a non-spoiler review, that his humor's subtle. Like,
it is. And it's quite impressive how subtle it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, the other thing is, he got that jacked body, never takes his shirt off.
Yeah, yeah, that was in the review too.
Never takes. I'm fine with it, but like, you get to see the arms. You get to see the arms, and they are freaking jacked. But you're like,
all jacked. Fucking
yeah,
druids.
they are all jacked for sure. But like, most of them wear their clothes the entire movie, and you're like, wow, why did you go
Some
to all
don't.
the trouble? You know, you can be subtle and say things like most of them, or you could be explicit and do what you just did. Like, that's the line. That's the line.
Ricky's been drawing pictures of what happens during the movie.
I know, right? He can't resist it.
I'm like Sonny from iRobot. I'm just like, I'm trying
to train restraint into you right now, and it's so hard. It's so hard for you.
You want to talk about it?
Put pieces of chocolate in his mouth or something when he does something good. When he shows some restraint, you got to give him some chocolate.
I will admit, he's been better about this one than most things, but
I only had a day's notice.
Yeah.
Mentally prepared.
Well, I didn't know I was gonna see it until I found a showing with 4 freaking people in it. I was like, I can do this.
Yeah, we all peer pressured you. We're going to sacrifice you to
Lindsay. Yeah, true. Lindsay had a work meeting she had to do because her new job started this week. So
I thought she was going to chill a little longer.
I thought so too, but the cool thing is it's a job that is no more than 20 hours a week.
Oh, okay. Is it part-time, or is it like one of those like?
It's contract. It's contract.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So it's a cool gig for her. It's really cool, but like, so this week has been chill because she had like a kind of like an orientation meeting on Monday, and then they kind of like scheduled her to meet with the manager on Friday. So she didn't really work Tuesday through Thursday at all, but she's hourly, so she, you know, it doesn't, she's just not getting paid for Tuesday through Thursday, whatever. But her meeting with her manager was today at 1, and so I was like, I'll just go see the movie at 1, you know, and then it was super funny because I got out of that movie 3 hours later, and I was all excited to come back and talk to her, and she was like losing it. She's like, the internet doesn't work. Are you gonna have can you do the podcast? And she's like, the modem broke, and I'm like, let's go buy a new modem. Let's go, like, it's fine.
Oh, we got messages, yeah.
So we can't just buy a new modem.
I thought that was cool that she sent messages to you guys.
Yeah, she was on it. It was
funny.
And
But
like
yeah, I just
when she said that too, like I was thinking like I'm pretty sure Dennis will be able to buy a new modem. Like I was thinking that inwardly, but I'm all like, if not, Ricky can push buttons, and Dennis
yeah,
can probably hook up on
she
his
was
cell
trying
phone.
to get me to like go to Best Buy from the movie theater, and I'm like, I'm cold. It's cold
That's
outside.
the
I
intersection
was,
of death for you.
I was like, it's cold. I'll just come home and then we'll
Like,
go in the car and that's fine. Like
I've seen a lot of accidents on that intersection.
yeah, but it took us about 20 minutes to set up the new modem. Like when we got home, and it was done. It was done. It's good. So it was a funny thing to come out of that movie too, because I was like super happy, and then she's just like, "Did you get my messages?" I'm like, "No, what's going on?" Like, and she's just like panic mode. It's funny, but yeah, it's a weird day. And oh yeah, I did tell you I would let you know, because I let Ricky know. I actually applied for something this week that I thought was really cool. It's for a travel consultant for a company that specifically does vacation. I think they think they might do beyond vacation planning, but
mhm.
specifically vacation planning for disabled people.
Oh,
International vacation planning. I don't think they really do a lot of domestic stuff. And they're actually the company that we used when we went to Italy, and they're really cool. Like it's a really cool experience. Like travel in general is hard in a wheelchair. International travel in a wheelchair is about 18 times harder. And
do you have
then
to
like
take a push chair on the plane or?
no, I didn't. I didn't take one, but like, I mean, if you want to get really in the details, I do some weird stuff to like survive that flight without having to go to that restroom.
Oh yeah.
I usually like I have been known to do like a Benadryl or something to like make me go to sleep or something. Just to, like I
Oh shoot,
basically
I didn't think about that actually.
I hibernate a lot.
So
Yeah,
for like international like 18-hour flights, you just pop a
Do you
I
couple
have to
don't.
Benadryl.
get
I think 13 is my the best, the most I've ever done. 13.
Oh, okay.
I
Oh, so you
think
probably go to like the East Coast before
mhm.
flying
yeah.
to. Okay.
Usually, except for Japan, we did that from here,
Yeah,
It's
because
closer
you
from the
here.
West
can't.
Coast. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can't. Yeah. Okay.
But usually it's a yeah. Usually there's like a layover. I don't think there's a lot of direct flights to the Europe from here.
Yeah.
Maybe I can't remember.
No, there are,
Uh,
but they're more expensive.
yeah,
I'm down with the layover.
but in any case, like
Yeah.
there's a lot of nuance to it and stuff. And so the cool thing is like when you find a company that tries to make that a lot easier for you, it's a very empowering thing. It makes you
Mhm.
feel like like it's not so hard to go do things around the world and stuff. And I had such an amazing experience doing it with with Lindsay. We had so much fun. We got to tour the Vatican. Like when we got to the Vatican, there was like this giant line, like blocks long of people waiting to go do tours of the Vatican. But for us, we just had a designated like person that we met that was like hired. He's an expert. He had a PhD in the art at the Vatican and stuff like that. And like,
Mm.
so he knew all the people because like, for his PhD, he had to like be there all the time and study. So he just knew everybody at the Vatican. And like, he just took us in, like we rode on the Pope's special like elevator that he uses for his guests and
Oh
stuff
wow.
like that. And like, we just never had to wait for anything. And he got to like explain every piece of art or every statue, everything like in great detail because he just knows it. And to the point where these other people were with tour groups, and they're like, "Can we follow your guy?"
Fuck
Like,
no. Get the fuck away.
yeah, but yeah, and we just had that kind of crazy experience like everywhere that we went, like because we had set up all these tours and they set up the travel for us, like everything. So it just made me feel like, man, Italy's easy. I don't know why people would think it's not, but like
Do,
it
do
probably is really hard.
Are there a lot of disabled people that find it intimidating to travel, or find it so intimidating that they just don't travel, or how does? I don't know.
Um, Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's like one, power wheelchairs are scary because there's no really good airline regulations for them. So like it's hit or miss. Like if you end up with a intact wheelchair when you get to the other end,
Shit.
and that's really depressing. You know, that'll take the steam out of you like really quick. I've definitely like I've had more trouble in a domestic travel, but like yeah, one of those trips I did to New York, you know, because you give them their chair at the gate or at the ticket taking place, whatever, and then you say bye to it, and then you know several hours later they'll bring it to you, and when they bring it to you and pieces of it are sitting on the chair
Yeah.
and that's not where they're supposed to be, and I'm like, why is that not on the thing? You know, like but yeah, I went to New York one time and the entire joystick was just sitting on my chair on the seat, and I'm like, that's the thing I used to drive the chair. Like, wait, why is that not attached to the chair anymore? You know, and so like, yeah, it's all crazy and stuff, and so it's so like to be able to like give somebody a positive experience, like I think that's just kind of like what I've been looking for more is like,
Hmm.
you know, if I'm gonna rejoin the workforce, I just kind of wanted to do something where I was like uh, actually making you know an improvement on somebody's life a little bit and stuff. So it's like as much as I liked the entertainment industry or video games and stuff like that, it wasn't calling me back. You know, like it wasn't something I was like, I need to go do this again. So like when I saw this posting, I'm like, I think I could do that because I think I travel. I'd like to think
Yeah,
I
you're
travel
very
more
well
than the
traveled.
average. Yeah,
Yeah.
more than the average power wheelchair user. So I
Wonder
was
what
like,
type
I'll
of
do this.
I was gonna say
credentials.
you travel a lot better than a lot of bipedal people that I
Oh
know.
yeah, you
I
more
like to
travel than
think I
me.
do. Yeah.
Um,
So
I'd be curious to know what kind of systems they use as someone who's worked in tourism for a long time.
yeah, but they know, like I know one of the things about this company is that it started with a guy who didn't want in a wheelchair that didn't want to let that stop him from traveling. So he
Hmm.
he went
Sounds
around the world and vetted a lot of these things himself, you know, like so he's developed the contacts for the different countries and stuff like that
well,
that
that's
Also,
cool.
like
uses.
different countries, you just disable people in different ways.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that true?
So different countries say that again.
You
Sorry.
Different countries view disabled people in different ways.
Yes.
like the Spartans? Do they really?
Yes, they do. Japan is a weird one.
Hmm.
Japan's a weird one because um, it's kind of seen as a burden, but like they know that culturally they're looked down upon because of that, so they're trying to make up for that. Like,
Mm,
you know, like normally it's not a thing you see a lot of. You don't see a lot of disabled people rolling around in like the streets of Tokyo and stuff like that because you're supposed to like culturally, I think you're supposed to keep them in the home and
wow.
stuff like that, you know. So, but like I had a very excellent time in Tokyo because, like Tokyo, I literally did Lost in Translation. Like I was
Is that a movie?
ScarJo. I was whoa.
I've
You've
never
never
seen it.
seen
Nah.
you've never seen
I've
Lost in
I've never seen
Translation?
Lost in Translation.
Mm-mm.
Oh, you guys are killing me, man.
So,
That's
but
a
you were
that's
ScarJo, so you had nice,
that's
nice
I was either
titties.
ScarJo or Bill Murray, whichever one you want. No, I think I was
Bill
ScarJo.
Murray's in it. Ooh,
It's I highly recommend that movie, guys. Like that's a beautiful movie. Sofia Coppola directed it. It's her first movie.
2003. Oh, Anna Faris is in it. Wow, wow.
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
Giovanni Ribisi. What the fuck? It's cool.
Anyways, it's about Bill Murray is a struggling, like he used to be famous, right? So now he's Japan famous. You know how like some actors can
Yeah,
go and
yeah,
make a
Yeah.
second career in like Japan or something like that.
sure.
He's one of those people. So he's there in Japan and he feels out of place because he doesn't really know the culture or anything like that, but he's he's there making money and
Yeah.
he ends up meeting ScarJo at a bar, and she's kind of out of place too because she's a wife that's traveling with her husband who's a businessman who's doing lots of meetings and stuff, but she doesn't really have a purpose other than to be there to be his trophy or his wife or whatever. So like the two of them ended up like kind of like having this weird, I don't want to say romantic, but a very weird connection where like the two of them go and hang out in Japan together because they don't speak the language, and so they just have each other to lean on. And so I joke and say I was the ScarJo because when I went, it was for Lindsay's business trip that she had to go, but I wanted to go see Japan, so I hitched a ride. But Lindsay literally had to be working
Oh, I see. So you were the
all
workhorse.
day.
You were the
Yeah, she had
Got
to
it.
work all day, and then she had to go do work dinners afterwards every day. So I spent about 10 to 13 hours a day in Tokyo by myself for 7 days or 6 days, something like that. Yeah. And I just got around. Like, I just like, what I found out is that, like, as long as you know where you want to go and you just tell them at the subway or whatever, like, they're so terrified of having an American wheelchair person get lost or whatever. They just do it for you. They just do the whole thing, dude. Like, they like get a guy and he has a ramp and he carries it and he walks you to your train. And then as soon as the train pulls up, he lays the ramp down so you can cross the threshold. And then he like calls ahead to the station. So there's another guy waiting for me
with the
with
ramp.
another ramp
Wow.
and to take me to escort me. So like, but it was funny because I do speak a little bit of Japanese, right? And so like I would know when they were getting super frustrated and calling me a baka or stuff like that, because like the guy would see me every day and he'd just be like, why don't you know how to speak Japanese? And I just like pretend like I don't,
You go, what?
yeah. And it was really funny because you could tell he was fed up with it, but like he had to do it. And so, but yeah, it's weird. It's traveling in different countries. You get to see different things, like Italy, like Rome. Rome is all cobblestones. Like it's all cobblestones.
I don't think about that because I don't.
Yeah. No ramps.
Generally roll around, but that
Well,
makes
it's not so much about ramps. It's just about the ride. You know what I mean?
a lot of those
like,
old world places are cobblestoney. Like,
yeah.
I didn't think about this till now, but you probably couldn't get to the top of the cathedrals just because of the way the stairs are shaped.
Nah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but I got a lot of weird looks in Rome. Like, people would look at me like, what the hell are you doing here? Like, why are you even trying to drive that chair on this, this surface? And or
Was it like
America.
Ace Ventura when nature calls and they're on the
kind of, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I didn't think about
yeah.
cobblestones.
It's really weird, so like it's little things like that. So like if I can help somebody, prepare for something like that, or like, dude, I've had equipment break in other countries, like, like I blew out the entire circuit on the floor of my hotel in London.
Oh shit, yeah.
When I was trying to charge my chair.
I was gonna
And
say,
so
yeah.
I completely exploded my charger, and I had to spend a day trying to find a replacement charger that would work in London. And that was terrifying because I was there for work that time.
Oh wow.
And so, yeah, luckily we were there a day early, and but I ended up finding a place like I think an hour out from London, and I gave them my credit card number. They sold me the thing. They put it in a taxi, and that guy drove all the way to my hotel and just, and so
Can your robo chair be pushed? Like, is there like a neutral that you can put it in or
it
something?
can, but it's not recommended. Not it's not a pleasant experience for sure for anybody.
No,
yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. Oh, Ricky's had to do it at Disneyland. That's right.
Yeah, Dennis died at the fucking tram.
Oh shit. Do you carry like extra battery? How is the power stored in your chair? I assume it was the battery.
I can carry, so like for Comic-Con, and I mean I should for Disneyland, but for Comic-Con I actually take the charger in my backpack, which is questionable because then you get free if they search your backpack. Then they're like, what is that? Like they start freaking out because they don't know where it is. But for Comic-Con, because there's so many like lulls, like if you're in between panels or if you're just sitting around at a panel, like if you can find a place to park near an outlet, like do it then and stuff like that. But
Gotcha.
I don't think Disneyland I ever did that. Maybe I was
No,
just.
you got Ricky to push you. It's fine.
Yeah, I was like,
Well,
Ricky
there's
can
no
push
like,
it.
there's no plugs at Disneyland. Like,
Yeah,
they keep that shit hidden.
They have the light posts where there's plugs. That's where I would charge my phone usually.
that's fair. Yeah,
But I don't imagine
Yeah.
they want me to do that. They just kind of accept it because I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But Comic-Con, so it only charges. You don't have like, you know how like the cell phones have those little batteries that you can plug into the cell phone? You don't have anything like that?
No, these batteries are like they're like car batteries almost. So like it's not.
Oh, so they're like crank batteries. They have like the acid inside of it, and they have
They
the
can
so,
have
yeah.
acid or
the zinc or
yeah,
whatever.
You're
or
like
gel kind
2
of.
chairs away from like plugging into like a Tesla charger.
God damn. I didn't know they were that heavy duty. That's crazy.
Yeah, they're big. They're big batteries. They're the thing that's underneath me. Like that's the majority of what's underneath me is the motors and the batteries is what I sit on pretty much.
That's cool. I always assumed it was like a lithium type battery and not like a.
Yeah, no, it's not a lithium battery for sure.
Lithium, I feel like that's illegal, right? Like that's
Lithium.
just,
You
like-
just can't. You can't transport it.
you
but-
can just like Samsung Galaxy Note and just
Yeah, no,
blow up.
no. It's not.
You can do that with the crank battery too. Like a crank battery will blow up.
True.
Well, they definitely get like uncomfortable at the airport. So like you have to explain it. You have to show them. You have to tell them the voltage. It's a
They
whole
watch
thing,
the-
man. And
They
so,
watch
like,
Batman versus Superman.
but that was the fun part about like
Nobody
doing
watched
this
that.
That was the fun part about doing this resume, right? It's like normally like for my
Mm-hmm.
skills, it's all the skills that I would use for testing. And so I had to like write an completely different like list of skills. And I started thinking about like all the things I do to travel, like and all the things I've known or encountered and how to do them. And like it was like, wow, I've encountered quite a bit of shit. You know what I mean? So like I just wrote it all down. I don't know. Maybe I'm tooting my own horn, and there's like 50 billion people that are way more experienced at this than I am. But I think I'm pretty experienced at it, so I'm excited to see what happens with it.
Well, that's
I-
cool.
Yeah,
I applied at Ready at Dawn for
Oh, what?
community associate.
Do you know anybody there?
It's technically Oculus, so yes,
Okay.
but no.
is it technically Oculus?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about.
Yeah, I don't know because they definitely make games for PlayStation.
Is it Ready at Dawn? Yeah.
The parent studio is Oculus, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't.
It was a
Yeah.
Facebook job posting that I filled out. I guess I say that.
Well, that's cool.
Definitely.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try something.
That's
translate some skills.
Have you been
Over.
doing community management stuff lately?
In a sense, I've done it at my last 2 jobs in a much lighter scale, like just through our socials that we run.
Gotcha.
So this seems more like forum based, but it's still, skill set's the same.
This is an interesting soapbox that we turned into.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm getting
hopefully-
good insights about
At least
way-
I
the way-
didn't. Yeah. I
the
didn't
way your
mention
chair
that.
works. I'm gonna write it down on my computer, and then when OMAC fucking hacks my computer, I'll know.
I mean, I'll mention names. I'm not.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. Probably don't.
Why not?
Probably don't do
Why
that.
not?
Just
They're
don't.
not that big.
Don't do it.
Yeah, but
Don't do
well,
it.
one day, see, that's the problem. That's the difference.
The one day.
That's the difference. Is that one day we could be, and then people start combing through all your stuff, and then they're like, "Remember that time Dennis told Saudi Arabia to go fuck themselves?"
Well, now Saudi Arabia's clapping back.
Then we can't stream our podcast in Saudi Arabia. That's what.
And
that
then World War
amounts to.
III starts because of that.
Oh, that'd be
Man,
pretty sweet.
that's awkward.
I'd
Yeah,
be like, yeah, I was on the show that started that. It was sick.
but Frank, I'm very thankful. I don't want you to make it a habit, but I'm thankful that you didn't do the OT that you
yeah.
dodged today.
I
That would have
did.
been a very awkward show if we had to just do Spider-Man 1 and 2 without you. But I
Yes.
understand. I understand if it's gonna come up soon, just give us a heads up.
Well, it's
And-
not. It wasn't precisely the title that I'm working on. Without saying anything, it wasn't the title that I'm working on. There was another title which had an opportunity for OT, or another platform of a previous title that has had opportunity for OT, and I was
Gotcha.
like, okay, I'm not signing up for it. I'm not signing up for it. But literally, the entire crew signed up for it. They tried to sign up for it. So hopefully, like, it doesn't piss anybody off that I didn't go for the OT. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't show interest in it. So
just
whatever.
let them know you got more important things to do.
I got more important things to do. I got to work work life fucking
balance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
trying
that's
to
important.
work because
Balance.
I don't believe in that, but yeah, I definitely.
Yeah. By the way, that is a kind of weird other ulterior motive for why I applied for this job. Like, I found it really hard to want to play video games at home when I did it all at work all day. Like, that was a weird
Oh
thing.
no,
And
that's the total thing.
and to be fair, like the last few years that I was doing video game stuff, I actually wasn't playing games a lot at work, so it got easier.
Mhm.
But I liked the idea of finding something that is completely separated from what I do in my daily life. You know what I mean? Like, it's like having an alter ego
I mean,
kind of thing.
when,
You know what
when
I
I
mean?
was doing tourism and stuff, like when I got off, I didn't want to go back downtown or back to the beach or back to other places because it was work, you know. Like I wanted to be at home, and it definitely like gets to you after a while. It's like, oh well, let's all go out this Friday. I'm like, shit, I just left fucking downtown. I don't want to go back downtown, you know.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
I
why I
get it.
split up my office. Like my office is now just 100% work, and then I have my video games in the next room over.
I
Yeah.
need to do that. It's gotten a little easier because I don't work from home anymore. But the year that I was, it was like, all right, let's go work for 8 hours at this desk, and then let's play games for 8 hours at this
At
desk.
this
Yeah.
desk. Yeah.
I will say that's the one weird thing about this, like, because I wasn't necessarily planning to apply for something like, you know, like that's
How did you see it?
Lindsay actually follows them on Facebook, and so the posting just went up yesterday, or was it Wednesday night? It might have been Wednesday night. Yeah, for Wednesday. She saw it and she thought, you know, she knows I've been looking for something different, and so she just sent it to me, and I was like, "This is cool. This is actually." It is the first thing I've seen in a long time that excited me because I started thinking about like what could I offer and what could, you know, what would I learn or what could, you know, what value could I provide, and you know, all these different. I was just thinking about it and it was like, whoa, I haven't done that in a long time, you know, like actually think about a job like it could be something cool to do. So so even if it doesn't plan out, maybe I'll start trying to look for other things that are similar to that kind of experience.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But I have to change the subject because I had another weird epiphany this week.
About Spider-Man?
No, not about Spider-Man.
Oh.
I wanted to make one last push for RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh my god!
I realized. Well, look at my lights are turning off. That's cool.
Yeah, it's turned off.
They lasted a while, by the way.
Is that battery powered? Battery?
Yeah, they're rechargeables in there. I'm surprised the top one turned or still on because that one's been on longer. I realized the other day why I love one of the reasons I love that show so much because it relates back to this, like what we do, which is talk about superheroes. And I realized that they essentially are superheroes. Like what you start learning about, like as you watch that show, because it's a reality show, so obviously, you know, they're trying to get dramatic moments out of these people. And so eventually, as time goes by in the competition, you start to get their stories. You eventually get their origin stories. And it's kind of sad because like almost all of them have the same origin story. And it's never good, right? It's like it's you know, they had a really bad childhood because they they wanted to be something that they weren't allowed to be
Mhm.
in their normal lives, and some were horribly abused because of it. Some lost their like their relationships with their families, you know, all these things. But like it's almost the same story. I don't mean it. It's not. It doesn't. It's not like a broken record or anything like that. Each story is very moving, depending on how they tell it, you know. But what you start seeing is like they went through this horrible hardship, and then out of it they created a persona, and it's this persona that puts positivity back into their community, you know what I mean? Like, and and it's very empowering to them, and they sometimes they take on entirely different personality when they do it. And when you realize that that's the origin story of pretty much every damn drag queen, it's really cool, man. And like, how as a person who loves superheroes and the story of superheroes, could I not love this show? You know what I mean? Once I recognize that. So like, I just caught that it like accidentally this week, because Lindsay and I have been continuing. I signed up for Paramount Plus this weekend,
Okay.
so that I could get, because like Hulu's been sitting on like only the first 6 seasons of the show for like years, and this show's up to season 13 now, man. Like it's,
Holy shit.
I don't know why Hulu stopped. Maybe there's some weird contractual thing, but I finally was like, dude, I'm like 6 years behind on this show. I'm gonna go get Paramount Plus. So I signed up for a free month, and on Halloween Day, that's all we did was watch that while we Lindsay carved the pumpkin, and then like she decorated outside, and then we had dinner, like, and left candy out for the kids all night long, and the entire day just RuPaul's Drag Race all day long, dude. And it was kind of the best thing ever to watch during Halloween. It was pretty cool.
That's fun.
So I highly recommend that show as somebody who loves superheroes. And if you ever wanted to see real life ones, like, I mean, they're not going out and saving burning buildings and buses of children that are in danger or anything like that, but they are adding a lot of value and inspiration to their communities, and it's a pretty cool thing to see. And they're wearing fabulous costumes too.
I used to hang out with a lot of drag queens actually back in the day. They
Yeah.
would a lot of them would show up at like our LARP games for Vampire the Masquerade,
Hmm.
and I don't know why, but for some reason that just drew in that crowd. So they would show up in their usually
I can see
they
why LARPing would.
yeah they
Actually,
play
yeah.
It's basically LARPing is what they're doing.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just an
Yeah.
extra layer of LARP on top of their persona. It was kind of cool. It was really cool. We'd hang
Yeah.
out, and like sometimes it was weird. It was jarring hanging out with them in their male persona, in their, I guess, secret identities, as it were, because they weren't the same person. Like they totally acted differently. Their bodies would move differently. It was weird. It
Yeah.
was pretty interesting.
There's a
Yeah.
good drag queen King of the Hill episode that I like a lot. Not
The
related at all.
cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's really funny because like that show does a good job of like they're not in drag all the time on that show, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like when they're in the workroom, like getting ready for the tomorrow's competition or whatever, they're
Yeah.
just t-shirt, shorts, whatever, and like no makeup and stuff, and well, maybe enough makeup to be camera ready, at least.
Yeah.
But everybody wears makeup on camera pretty much, so like whatever. And they're doing the confessionals, all that stuff. They're just guys. Some are more effeminate than others, but like it's funny because when I see them like that, I'm always like, man, this dude's this, or this dude's that, this dude's crazy, or this dude is playing a good game or whatever like that. But later when they're dressed as a drag queen, I always refer to them as she. Like, so I buy into it without even thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like, I accept, like, as a bystander, that Bruce Wayne and Batman are two completely different human beings. Like,
That's true.
and it's super funny to experience that, and it just makes me appreciate superheroes more and drag queens and vice back and forth. You know, like it's just like, yeah, there's something really cool to this. Like there's something very unique and it touches me, and that's why I really think it would be hilarious for you guys to watch it at some point.
Yeah,
It's a good watch.
I used to watch it actually. I used to
I've
watch it.
seen
'Cause my mom loves
just-
reality TV. And, yeah.
Yeah.
In the peripheral, I've seen hours of Drag Race.
Does Selena watch it?
Selena
Or
watched.
or your
Sophie
sister?
watched. Sophie watches a lot more.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's awesome, and
It's
some of the
fun, yeah.
challenge, some of the art challenge, like the challenges they have to do are just so amazing. And then they do one every season. It's called Snatch Game, and it's basically Frank. Do you remember the Match Game?
Oh, the old TV show,
The game
Or-
show,
or
yeah.
the game show, yeah.
Where you have like two contestants, and then you have a bunch of celebrities sitting there.
yeah,
and
yeah.
they joke around. It's kind of like Hollywood Squares, right?
Like how,
But it's-
yeah. I remember that.
yeah.
That was an '80s show. Was that an '80s show?
I want to say 70s,
70s?
maybe 70s, 80s. But yeah, I probably saw it on reruns on like Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah, shit, 73 to 82.
Yeah, I think I saw it on Nickelodeon. But they do a thing called Snatch Game, and it's basically a parody of that, where everybody is supposed to do a parody of a famous person. And in general, they usually do it in drag. So it's most of the time they try and do women, but
Mhm.
like the really daring ones will find a man that is still, that somehow still feels like you're not breaking the rules. So like one season somebody did Little Richard,
Nice.
and you'd be hard pressed to tell me Little Richard is not in drag all day, all the time. It's that man is basically a drag queen with a mustache. You know what I mean? So like,
my mom has a picture of Little Richard.
Nice.
that's funny. But they just do all kinds of hilarious characters, and it is some impressive talent on display when they do that. When they're good at it, some are horrible at it, and you know, like not everybody can be good at everything. Some are good at doing the catwalk. Some are good at doing, comedy. Some are good at just making fabulous dresses or whatever. Like, but you know, that's the whole point, is when you find somebody that's good at all of them, you just root for them, and that's kind of what you get invested in. You're like, I want to see this person win. I don't know what it means to be the winner of this show. Like, I guess you get money, and I don't know what you
like. Usually, you win that show and you go on tour.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not going to those tours. You know, like that's not
but
really.
You're making money
That's
on
not
those
my
tours.
scene. Yeah, I know. So I'm saying I don't see what they do because it's not part of my life normally, but I appreciate it, and it's super funny. So highly recommend it. Like, also RuPaul is incredibly talented at zingers and one-liners, like just constant. I can't handle how well that person can execute witty
He's seen it all. What are the
I know.
13 seasons? He's
I know.
caught in that.
And Frank, basically, I'm telling you, you'll learn a lot of good dick and balls jokes and ass jokes, like that you will go and use in your life.
Okay.
And you will, and because most of your friends probably don't watch it, you'll seem super smart and witty.
Dude, but like, damn, this Frank took witty pills today. What the
Just
hell?
steal it.
Witty
Just
pill.
steal it from RuPaul. That's all you gotta do.
RuPaul's got some sick ass suits in that show too.
RuPaul has a crew that puts that whole experience together. So like, you know what I mean? Like, he's got like some of the most talented makeup people and some of the most talented designers that make sure that no one ever shows him up. Like, and it's impressive. Like, yeah.
The suits are
It's pretty
legit.
crazy.
It's like straight Miranda Priestley shit. It's really good.
Oh, you're talking about his suits when he's
suits. Yeah, it's regular.
He looks good in the suit
His
too.
suits are amazing too. Yeah, like I could never pull off the suits that dude wears. Like, it's Ricky maybe. No,
Ricky can do it. Ricky, you're the best. You're the best of us.
I'm in the suit market right now. I gotta go buy a suit for a work party.
So do I. I got my wife's got a ball. She's with the fucking elks or some shit, and
Elks?
so
Wait, what?
the elk
Oh, like an
lodge.
elk? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like one of those. So we got a ball like next week that I have to go
So
to.
you guys are doing in-person parties again?
We're doing an in-person party on a boat.
Oh my god, yours is the worst.
Yeah,
Um,
that's pretty
we're
bad.
going to. We're going to a basketball game next week for work.
Oof.
So, in a suite, to be fair, but I mean,
Yeah. Whatever.
So I might be dead by the next show. Is what I'm getting at. So
I should probably get boosted.
you can have my comic books, Dennis.
Yeah.
Can I
But
have
not the
that
Spider-Man ones. Those will get buried with me. So
As long as I know where you're buried, that's all that matters.
hey, wait a minute.
I'm still pissed off my coworker that wouldn't let me sell those Spider-Man comics. I was trying to actually I told him like, hey, if you don't want to sell them, that's fine, but you should really get them graded.
I really was debating on clearing out some of my 401k to be able to purchase those comic books at a fair price, because like those are the last comics that I need basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I gotta do this.
I'm like, because he just has them like in a safe. I'm like, dude, like get them graded, because then you'll lock in a value basically.
Yep.
But the act of just sending them in or dropping them off like freaks them out. So
it's tough because you do have to mail them in, but you get insurance for it. But still, if they get damaged on the way down there,
like an in-person thing at Comic-Con.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could do that, but it has to be at like Comic-Con or any one of those trade shows.
Yeah,
like that. They'll have the CGC booths, but you can't always drop them off. Is the problem? Some of the higher value ones, they don't allow you to drop them off.
In the mailman.
You have to mail them in. Yep. Some of them they do allow. If they have someone like when Steve Ditko was there, or like John Romita Sr., if they're there present, you could sign them and then they'll grade them right there. You could pay for John Romita to like sign them, and then they'll grade them right then and there.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Pretty handy.
Yeah, those are the better ones that do. I did that with Jim Lee on a couple of them. Oh no!
I'm here.
Okay, good.
I was getting something to show you guys.
He finally finished off Lindsay.
She's gone. I forgot to show you what came in the mail.
Is that a He-Man? Oh, that's a Legend. That's a
Legend. Oh shit! Yeah,
it's a Christmas Hulk.
It's a compound Hulk. I guess he kind of is the Christmas Hulk.
That's based off a comic book cover, though, right? It's not an actual character.
No, it's based as an actual. It's a character. It's an actual.
We talked about it on the show.
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
compound Hulk. You got here. Dumb. This is my Walmart exclusive that I think I ordered in like May or something like that.
Dumb Malachi looking Hulk.
And then, by the way, I just want to let you know so that I can have more stuff to show you. Hasbro already shipped all the exclusives. They shipped them. So I'm gonna get them either tomorrow or like Monday.
Oh, nice.
All the Comic-Con exclusives. I did not expect it to be that fast because PulseCon was just last weekend, right? Yeah, it was last weekend. Yeah. The weekend before.
Oh no, yeah, weekend before.
The weekend before our show. Yeah, before our last show.
That's awesome.
So 2 weeks ago. So I will have my Elvis MODOK and
Captain
and animated Venom by next show.
That's cool. Yeah. The animated Venom's pretty damn hot.
You know, I couldn't resist. I also got the G.I. Joe exclusive too.
Which one was that? I don't remember that one.
It's color changing Zartan.
Oh, you told me about that one. That's right.
I like his little backpack. You can put all the masks in the backpack.
Yeah, dude. But the fact that he's color changing, like when they made Zartan last year, and I saw him, I was like, he looks cool, but he doesn't color change.
Is that like a gimmick for Zartan? Like the old toy?
Yeah, one of the old toys. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the gimmick for him and his brother and sister. Zartan, Zorana, and Zatanna, I think, or something like
I used
that.
to like those Hot Wheels that you would dip in water and they change colors.
Yeah, but it was basically that where if you put him out in the sun, he would turn blue. He would fully turn blue, and so that was that's just what everybody our age remembers. And so to make a Zartan that doesn't do that is blasphemy. Like it's wrong. So
It reminded me of those hypercolor shirts that they had in the
yeah,
80s
that's a
and
thing
90s.
Ricky probably never saw either.
I had
Yeah,
one. Yeah,
you had
They're
one?
still around.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're definitely still around.
I had the dumbest one. It was like red and it turned to pink, and I'm all like, it was almost imperceptible when it would change colors. I'm all, this is the fucking stupidest one. I wonder if they just gave me a shirt. They just gave me a shirt and wrote hypercolor in crayon.
I had a yellow one that turned like mustard.
Yellow
like
the term
like
mustard.
like mustard brown, you know what I mean? Like
Okay.
it's so,
Just like shit brown.
like doo doo, baby.
Pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
And so like if you put your hand on it, then it just looked wrong. It just didn't look good.
My mom had the coolest one. It was like, I think it was like green. It turned yellow. Well, not the coolest, but it was the most different
Color
in
shifty.
color. Yeah, color shifty. I thought that one was cool.
Oh,
So
Mr. Shifty is a good game on the Switch, by the way.
I think at the 2.5 hour mark, it's important to interject this little bit of wisdom or insight. If any of the things we talked about were interesting to you, let us know in the comments. Because we're doing this
We're just wind down.
Mostly for our benefit, but we're curious
Yeah.
to connect with people who are interested in any of the things
So we
talked
don't
about.
go crazy.
We're just bantering at this point.
Yeah, if you like, wheelchairs or color changing Zartans, or going on boats,
or punching rapey dudes at concerts,
or punching dudes at concerts,
disabled culture norms.
Yeah. If any of this sounded interesting, let us know, because
we're swinging for all the demographics right now.
We're swinging for the fences right now.
Yeah, we better tag the shit out of this.
What if the show just devolves into just us they pay us to go to concerts and punch dudes? Anyone acts wrong.
I have a good concert kind of punching story.
Nice.
So went to Made in America. Is a music festival in downtown Los Angeles on the steps of City Hall. I was only there to see Kanye. I get there at 11 and I ask the security guard, which stage is the Kanye stage? He's like, this one back here. And it was actually a pretty sick lineup. It was Juanes, Weezer, Insane in the Membrane. Who's that?
Cypress Hill.
Cypress Hill.
What year?
It's like 2014. John Mayer. And Kanye.
Okay.
So actually, and that was all just at that stage.
Oh,
There was other stages
There's
too.
like Stephen Aoki and
yeah.
Cool.
So I get to the Kanye stage, right, and I'm literally there from 11 a.m.
Nipsey Hussle too.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. Man, shit.
So you're in the front of the concert. You're making friends with people that trickle in, because obviously no one's there at the beginning, and more people come in as the show gets closer. So we're all like in our little Kanye fan front row on the rail bubble, and before like we pretty much knew like after like 6 p.m. if you left, you wouldn't be able to get back in. So we made sure like everyone went to the bathroom, like, go, can you get me water? Like we all had like a little community built up with my new friends.
Yeah.
And I'm there by myself. The last set comes on, and then there's like an hour wait before Kanye comes on, and then that's when people really start pushing, the crowd forward. And this one girl shoves her way into the front in our little corner, like on the rail, and we're like, "What the fuck?" Like, yo, you just can't do that. You just can't push your way through. We're here, we're chilling. And she got in an argument with one of the other girls that was in the front with us. And the girl that pushed her way through had this Starbucks cup full of tea. So she was like this, arguing with this annoying ass shaking her ice thing, and she has her back to me. So what I did is slap the cup, right? Cup
Canceled.
goes flying straight to the back of a security guard who had his back turned to us. Soaks him with the ice and the tea or whatever.
Oh, wow.
He turns around. He's like, "Who the fuck threw that?" Out hesitation. Everyone points to the girl. And like, she threw it. Get her out of here. And he like legit like grabbed her, pulled her over the rail, and just took her away. And that was the last we saw of her.
Oh man.
And it was so like the community of it all like
It was like when the New Yorkers all helped Spider-Man.
yes,
right?
it was like when the New
Yeah,
Yorkers all helped Spider-Man.
They basically aligned the cranes.
We'll
for
keep
you.
your secret.
Oh man.
You know, you better get that out of your system because I love that scene. So
Do you
know.
really?
I do.
That's a
Oh,
very
man.
I
good
do.
scene. Heartfelt.
I do love that scene.
There hasn't
I
been a
love
scene
that
like that.
I'm excited to
another
watch
Spider-Man
the
movie.
first one, and I'm excited to watch parts of the second one. I'm gonna make Lindsay watch the second one with me because she's never seen it. Because I hated on it so much. But I feel like the second one's the most important one of all these 4 movies to watch, right? Because like most of the characters that we're getting, like
They're-
I
you're
guess
right.
we're not getting that Harry.
Harry.
back.
We're not going to get
Yeah,
Emma Stone back. We're
They-
not gonna
We're
bring
not
her
getting.
back.
I don't think we're getting either Harry.
I was listening to a YouTube video today that was talking about how we might be getting that the Chris Cooper Goblin, and I'm like, no,
Whoa.
that sounds crazy. That sounds stupid.
I've
Chris
seen.
Cooper Goblin.
You've seen the. Have you seen the production photos? Right. It looks like the Norman suit. Or
It looks like
the
Norman
Defoe.
suit. Yeah,
The Defoe.
the
what?
Defoe suit. The Defoe
Chris
suit. Yeah,
Wait.
it does. But he has a satchel though, which is fucking
I
sweet.
know, and no helmet, just goggles.
And just
right?
goggles. Yep, that's tight. That's super
Yeah.
cool.
Have you not seen the photos, Ricky, of
Wait,
the Goblin?
but
I
what's
think-
this
I thought
Chris
he
Cooper
posted-
Goblin thing?
Chris Cooper's
Oh.
from the Amazing series.
Second one.
Oh,
the-
he's
the
the
second one.
Norman. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's Norman.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
the fake suit, or I've seen the leak suit for this movie.
I don't think it's fake. It looks pretty legit.
Yeah,
It looks legit. So I read that the suit leak, the art that they have out there was someone that was behind the scenes found an actual or had an actual picture of the suit, but they
Mhm.
gave it to an artist to draw, so it would be an artist rendition, so they wouldn't get in any trouble for leaking it if they leaked the artist rendition.
I mean, it's just
That
the
was
fucking suit.
interesting.
It's like it's the Raimi
Yeah.
suit, right? Like,
No, there's a little bit more to it.
oh,
There's-
the Goblin suit.
There's more.
Yeah, the
yeah,
Goblin
the
suit.
Goblin
Okay,
suit.
yeah,
There's
yeah, it
more
has
going
gold
on.
bits and the
Gold
goggles.
bits, broken up parts, and
The
then
the
like
satchel's
a
a
Pockets,
biggie.
like fucking hella
and the
pockets.
satchels like Jim Lee, like Rob Liefeld drew it or something.
Yeah,
I'm
the
just
set-
curious,
yeah.
like motivation wise, like where this all fits in, because like if it's
Ricky,
the
that's what everyone's curious about.
like why isn't Doc Ock like good at the end of that movie? Like,
That's what we're all wondering.
Only in like the last 2 minutes of it. Though.
also,
like,
what's the motive of the arms? Like, you ever think about that? Because the arms are controlling
No,
him, right? In
Like,
part 2.
what are they after?
Yeah.
if they had their way, they would just rob banks all day long. That's
Yeah,
what the
that's
arms
all
want
they
to
Why?
do.
They can't spend money.
They
So-
can apparently.
It's like
Apparently
Rick's
they
car.
can.
So you give Rick's car an order, protect Summer. Like it's the same thing. Like you're telling
Yeah.
the arms, hey, build a sick sun making device, and the arms will just keep doing
Let's
things
go.
to make this. Yeah, let's
They
go.
do
let's
the
They're
go.
like, all
contextual
right,
logic
know,
of
if
like,
you-
we need
if you
money.
wanna-
Yep.
If you want to fund it, we got to rob banks. And it's
Rob
like,
banks. So that's what the arms want to
That's
do.
such
and
like
they're
a
"We-
pre-fucking internet thing, because he had to like place those orders over the phone to get all those parts and shit.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the MCU of Ultron. How like he went on the internet for 20 seconds and decided I got to kill humans, and
Nope,
it's like,
on here.
okay. I mean, I wish you would have checked out different websites because maybe you would have come to a
He
different
went
conclusion.
Straight to
Can you
4chan.
imagine? Can you imagine if the tentacles went a different direction and they knew that they had to get money and they're like, we need to go to real estate school
Oh,
because
okay.
we're gonna learn how to be a real estate agent. And like and he's like, why? And because
We
then we'll
need the
make money. Yeah,
Money. You don't have the inhibitor chip.
They
We'll tell
hiss in
you.
his ear.
yeah.
I thought where you were going with that is that they were going to get a job at like as a cook at like some diner or something, just flipping
I
burgers.
mean, that's no different than real estate agent. I mean, like any of them are all ridiculous, but like that thing just decided rob banks. We got to rob banks. Like that's just what they did.
like
he's gonna have
Pretty
to
good.
here's an idea: rob the
launder that
company
money.
that has those things instead of robbing banks.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe rob the science company arms.
Just rob Harry. Like
there you
I
go.
love that he goes to Harry's house and Harry admits that he has the thing. He's like, I'll give it to you if you kill Spider-Man.
I'll give you the tritium.
And he's like, no, you'll just give it to me or I'll kill you. Like that would have been should have been what for some reason the tentacles all decided, yeah, that's a good deal. That's fair.
Good fair trade. I'm out.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Fair
We're
trade.
gonna go.
We'll see you in a little bit. Yeah.
We'll go get Peter.
By the way, I have a laundry list of fun facts, but I'm not going to go over all of them. But I did have another one about money regarding this movie because, like, I thought it was really funny when I was looking at IMDb's for Tobey Maguire because I thought about it. It's like he does not do a lot.
No.
He doesn't, and it's because he doesn't need to, and that's like he's got like 53 credits to his name, and most of those are before Spider-Man. Like,
wow.
Like he has done like 8 movies since Spider-Man 3.
Yes, I saw that.
Like,
There's maybe a movie a year or every other year.
Yeah, like one every year.
Cashed
And like
out.
the most recent one is he was like the narrator for Boss Baby.
He has the
like-
new movie coming out though, right? Like that's
Sure, maybe.
well, not
Yeah,
this
it's
one,
called
but
Spider-Man. It's called
you know what I mean.
No Way Home.
Yeah. But I read that apparently by signing on for the 2 sequels, like right away, like when after the first one, I think, or maybe before the first one ended, Tobey Maguire secured a paycheck of $26 million.
Wow.
Can you imagine to be that age and like just be handed $26 million? Like you're set. Like you're
Was he
just
like
set.
32? He was 32.
I don't. Was he even
He was in his
30?
20s.
Bullshit.
He was in his 20s, right? Like,
yeah.
that's
How-
so much money, dude. That's so much just to be Spider-Man.
He
Like,
wasn't in that much in before Spider-Man.
it's a lot of TV stuff.
A lot of bit parts too.
Yeah, for
He'll
sure,
be-
lots of bit parts.
Yeah.
And one of those things that he did in the after Spider-Man was freaking Tropic Thunder, which is a pretty bit part too. Like,
Oh, that's right, with that commercial with Robert Downey Jr.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
What was the name of that movie?
I don't remember. I
It
can't.
was shit.
I can't remember. But it's excellent. Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, he was in The
Yeah.
Great Gatsby also.
Yep. It's pretty crazy, just all the weird behind the scenes. Do you know that was the first movie to have the Marvel logo flipping pages?
Mm-mm.
Spider-Man.
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
The,
before it was just the red logo, the red Marvel.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
opening crawl has Shang-Chi in it. Spoilers.
Does it really for Spider-Man?
Yeah. No, in Eternals.
Oh.
The opening crawl. Oh, you don't mean the crawl. You mean
Or
the
the
logo. The
You're talking
logo.
about the logo?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. I was
Okay.
He's
in the M.
engrossed already. I was just in the movie by the time that thing rolled in because they do a cold open, so they do it. You get a scene before the Marvel logo, and it wrote me in. And I was like, yeah. Let's get past this Marvel logo. I need to know what's going on here. This is a lot of stuff here, so. I didn't even notice.
So you're basically J. Jonah Jameson. You're like, give me pictures of the Eternals.
I don't have time for this. Yes, we need more Eternals. Eternals, they're the new menace.
Every time they say deviant, I want a nickel.
Yes, they say deviant a lot in that movie.
The
A lot.
Do they say deviant more times than they say evil dies tonight in Halloween Kills?
No, but I don't know if they say Eternals more than they say.
don't they
deviants.
chant evil die tonight?
They do. There's so
Evil
much evil
dies
dies.
tonight.
I think every line in Halloween Kills is "Evil dies tonight" or 40 years ago.
How
guys-
did you? Oh, good.
Oh, well, are you gonna spoil Eternals?
That was gonna be an eternal thing.
Yeah.
Not a spoiler,
I was gonna switch gears because I was afraid you're gonna
Oh,
spoil.
okay.
But you can ask your ask your question.
The Eternals look different than they did in Guardians. In the little collector scene,
you can't even say the question correctly.
or the Celestials look different
Jesus
than the ones.
Christ.
It's 12:30.
But this is like multiple times you've done this. Like the Celestials do not look different than they do.
Yes, they do. Yes,
If by different you mean a different Celestial is being shown on the screen than the one that you saw.
But there's
in
a
different
visual
movie.
language with the Celestials in this movie that is not the same as the ones that we've seen before.
With Ricky, you
The
see
two
so
that we've
few,
seen before.
Yeah, versus the two that you see in this movie.
There's like
Ricky,
4.
Oh my God, Ricky! There's not like you don't see that many in this movie.
There's the flashback scene.
Like you need to let it go. Like Galactus is a celestial. Deal with it. Deal with it. Like we broke that to him yesterday, and it blew his mind because he's like, "What? But he has a face." And I just saw a movie where they don't have faces, and I'm like, because they don't all look the same, dude. They just don't all look the same. Nowhere is the head of a celestial.
Yes.
Nowhere is clearly a skull with eyes and nose and mouth.
What isn't Ego a celestial?
In the MCU, I think they say he is, but I don't know if he is in the.
Or is he a celestial
616.
being?
616.
He's a celestial.
I think in the MCU he's a celestial.
It just says he's species sentient planet. Oh wait, no wait. So in the movie, he's reimagined as a celestial.
Yeah, in the MCU. Yeah,
in the MCU.
So there you go. If Ego's a celestial, you got to deal with it.
Sure.
They don't. You know what I like to see. What I like to believe is like
he's a short one. They call him short stack.
If they're making new ones, like sometimes you get into like, I feel like making him look like this right now.
He's a preemie.
He's a preemie.
Yeah. Yeah. Think of the Celestials as like garbage pail kids. You know what I mean? They ain't all gonna look the same, but they're gonna have some similarities.
They all got boogers.
They're all gonna have some similarities. So just be.
God, we should watch that movie.
Oh my God, that'd be. Good.
I didn't know that was a movie till like a few years ago.
I used to like that movie when I was a kid.
I was disappointed by that movie.
Frank expected more out of his garbage pail.
Yeah, I guess I wanted more. I just wanted more of the cards, more of the card kids. They seem to make up their own things, and the garbage pail kids didn't even show up.
I'm so excited for anybody that made it past hour 2.5 of this because we definitely picked up.
We got to the garbage pail kids.
We got our fourth wind in hour 2.5.
We got there. What was your favorite garbage pail kids? Do you guys have your favorite?
That was way before my age. Like
I honestly don't remember any of them.
Were they? It was literally just a trading card pack that they were stickers, right? Like that's
yeah.
But the backs of them you could put them together to make a
larger picture.
A poster.
Vaguely remember that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Cranky Frankie was my favorite one. Cranky Frankie was pretty good. He was like he put his school books in a meat grinder. I don't know. He was the less lewd of them.
But they got sued, right? Like, isn't there a whole legal thing?
I think it was like
yes, it was by the Cabbage Patch Kids.
By Cabbage Patch Kids, but like they couldn't.
Yeah.
It was considered a parody, so they.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Cranky Frankie!
Wow, this is an awkward one. When James Franco joked about Tobey Maguire's frog-like features on set, Maguire was reportedly genuinely upset by those comments. This created friction between the two actors, which led to the existing rivalry between them now. A rivalry that was admitted to by Maguire in interviews since the Spider-Man franchise. What a bitch.
Wow.
What a frog-like bitch.
What a frog-like bitch.
There's
No,
some crazy.
We
I was
oh
watching
no, we
interviews
just
with-
lost Tobey Maguire as a patron. Damn it.
oh shit.
I was watching
Why
some.
do I always do this?
He was doing some interview press for his movies Brothers, which during the time of those interviews they were about to start. It was like it was 4 days before Spider-Man 4 got canceled. So it's interesting. It's like weird to see him talk about it as a thing.
Sorry, say that again.
In
So-
between Spider-Man 3, he had done a movie called Brothers with
Oh,
Natalie
yeah.
Portman. But while he
It's
was
a
doing
Jake-
press
it's
for
a
that
Jake
movie,
Gyllenhaal also.
yes,
Yeah.
they brought up Spider-Man 4 and like how that's the next movie of his, and 4 days later or a few days later it got canceled.
Damn.
You know about Jake Gyllenhaal, right? I've told you about this before, like how I read a different version of this today than what I had read before. Previously, I had heard that because
Spider-Man?
Toby, because he did Seabiscuit.
Oh, yeah,
after,
yes,
he did
yes, yes,
Seabiscuit
yes. I've
after
heard this.
Spider-Man 1.
Mhm.
And so the way I heard the story before was he actually injured his back riding that horse, and so he wasn't sure that he could do the stunts, and so Kirsten Dunst was dating Jake Gyllenhaal at the time and offered him up to Sony as a possible replacement. But the new version I read today was that Tobey was actually fired due to reports of him faking a back injury for a larger pay raise for Spider-Man 2. Jake Gyllenhaal was lined up to play Spider-Man and had already begun preparation, but Maguire decided to take the part after all. However, according to the DVD commentary, the "my back" joke, after Peter loses the control of his webs and falls in the alley and hits the
Hits
thing.
the car.
Yeah, apparently that joke was purely coincidental, as it was written into the script before the Maguire back problem happened.
Mm.
But apparently Maguire apologized to studio execs and got his role back. Gyllenhaal would go on to play Spider-Man's enemy Mysterio 15 years later in Spider-Man Far From Home.
The second was the version that I heard. Look up Garbage Pail Kids Leaky Lindsay.
Or just send us the link in the chat.
Okay.
Did you hear about the Black Panther stuff that came out?
No.
They're pausing production.
Did he get fired too?
Yes.
Oh shit.
No.
No,
he got fired?
Leticia, they're stopping production for a few months, starting in Thanksgiving all the way up to next year, for Leticia Wright, for her to recover from the injury she got, I think back in August. Which I think says one.
Was it called COVID?
They got a coincidental line in Black Panther
but if you got to
it's
stop
like,
production,
my COVID
for Shuri, that leads me to believe that Shuri is going to be a Black Panther.
Maybe
in that movie.
That'd be cool.
Oh, I remember Leaky Lindsay. I remember that one. That's a
You
good
married
one.
her.
Leaky.
Yeah, I did.
They have a Donald Dump. That's pretty good.
That's a good one.
Donald,
That's a good
A
name.
Leaky Lindsay mint card goes for $7.50 on eBay.
750
No,
or $7.50.
$7.50.
oh no.
Gotcha.
I don't like the 2020 ones. Ed Sheeran. That's good. Oh man. Okay, we're into the weeds here.
We're into the weeds. Should we stop? Guys?
Yeah.
Frank's sharing Garbage Pail Kids with us now. It got weird.
When I'm laughing at Garbage Pail Kids, it's over. Damn.
What happened to that
action figure?
What happened to that guy that wanted us to show our shirts? He never even said anything afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think I made him feel bad because I told him I'm in a wheelchair, dumbass?
Probably.
Check out this. Before we go, check out this Etsy listing that I'm sending right now. It's for a Leaky Lindsay. Looks like a statue.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's expensive though.
Like
who the fuck buys that and like, here's my Leaky Lindsay on my shelf.
Someone named Lindsay
just bought it.
Someone named Dennis for his wife Lindsay.
You can buy it without the base or with the base.
There's the Christmas present right there. Finally got it.
Don't ask for anything else, Lindsay. You should tell her that.
You know what you do is I saw this one somewhere recently. I think on TikTok. Is I buy her the Leaky Lindsay, and then I buy her a dildo. And then if she doesn't like the Leaky Lindsay, I tell her what she can do with herself.
We're just
Nice.
We're just gonna buy. This is what the Etsy listing led me to.
Probably won't do either of those things, by the way, but it'd be funny if I did. Okay. Now Ricky's definitely in the weeds so it's time to wrap this up and say, if you stuck around for the last half hour, it got weird. I promised it would get weird. Have
Oh
fun.
my god, there's so many pictures.
Have fun with daylight savings tomorrow, everybody.
Don't look at the side angle.
By the way, daylight savings is tomorrow night.
Yeah, set your clocks back, get your dog spayed.
Yeah, get your dog spayed.
Yeah, and I don't care what people say. I call it daylight savings. A lot of people like to say it's daylight saving.
Oh man, I got to get this thong, this Spider-Man warmer.
Yeah. We're done. Roll the outro. We're done. Bye,
Good night,
guys.
gents.
Thanks a lot.
See you guys.